Sport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, L.A.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! Happy Thursday to you, Slee. How you feeling?
What the hell, bro?
What?
I thought we were friends.
What did I do?
Jorge, let me ask you a question.
All right.
I'm walking down the hallway right before the show. Show's just about to start. Walking down the hallway, I crossed paths with what I thought was my good friend. Okay?
What did I do? I really don't know.
I just saw up. He says, acknowledges that I'm there. We have to acknowledge. We're walking right by each other.
I think I said I'm right behind you.
Gave him the fist bump right here.
Oh, did you? Did I leave you hanging?
Fist bump. This guy's head down, looking at his phone, fist bump. You know what I did with my arm? I left my left arm up the entire way. I'm like, well, I'm just going to leave it up. What do you want me to do with it? This guy was long gone.
I apologize.
And then I tell him, and then, thank you. I want to give Parker a hug here.
Who's that?
This is Parker. Parker. Yeah, Parker.
Nice to meet you.
He's a good man. He's a good man. Then I tell him, as we now are just going further and further away, I said, I'll just leave my fist up. He goes, what? I'm like, never mind. Never mind, man. Good morning, man.
I apologize. I was staring at my phone.
You are a man on a mission.
Guilty
and you
as
did
charged.
something that's very dangerous.
What's that?
You turned a corner looking at your phone. You've already had this
I've
issue at
I've
that
already
restroom
taken out
before.
the cleaning lady
lady.
a
Well,
This is
couple
why
of different
yesterday
times.
I said corner. I heard you coming out of the door. I said corner.
I'm losing my mind,
Okay, wait,
because I knew you said something to me, Em, and I think I even said to you, I said, what? And you're like, nothing. You kept it moving. Am I that heavy on my feet that you guys can hear me coming from around
corners? I don't know what the hell
corners?
is going on here, but just real quick, your corner thing, is that a restaurant thing?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And I worked at a Chick-fil-A,
Behind.
so like we would do the same thing. And again, in general, if we have offices like ours where we have a lot of corners, people take really hard. You just say, I'm coming around the corner, so take it maybe a little less hard.
We need one of those curved mirrors so you can see around the corner, like in a parking garage where you can see somebody coming the other way.
Leaning in like
I apologize.
He's like a linebacker in the middle. It's like Urlacher.
I'm more like a wide receiver right now, Slee. I'm feeling light on my feet. I'm feeling like I'm ready to get out there.
Well, you're not heavy on your feet. It's just that the door is shh. It has like a
does
loud
make a noise.
sound,
Not
so I could
Randy
hear that
Moss out here.
somebody was going to come down the hall.
You're like a tight end. Tight end is a better comp.
Travis Kelce.
We'll see.
Yeah, tight end is a better
Okay,
comp.
hold on. Let me say something about these doors. The reason I opened that door in the back so hard is because opening the door here in the studio is so heavy.
That door is like a
Right?
weightlifting routine.
Yeah.
That door's
Well,
got to
it's
weigh
soundproof.
6 tons.
So then
No,
when you
I've
go-
dislocated my left shoulder just trying to get out of here on like
It's
a
heavy.
night post-game show. I can't even.
So when you open
can't
the one
feel
in the
it.
back, it's like, whoa, that was a little too hard.
Yeah.
But it's a lighter door.
It's very, very heavy.
What's going on?
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Other than me leaving you hanging, how you
Just had to
feeling?
get that out.
I apologize. I truly didn't even know that I had done. I don't feel that bad about it. It's just it's like low degree rude, but it was unintentional. So I'm easy. I'm going to move past it.
If you said, "Oh no, I saw that fist,"
No, that would be purposely
like, what
rude.
the hell is
This
going
was-
on here?
This was inadvertently rude.
Yeah, it's Parker. Parker does a lot of stuff around the station.
I read his name occasionally. I'm unfamiliar. I don't think we've ever had the pleasure of
Very
meeting
popular
one
guy.
another.
He's well known on YouTube right now.
That's what I hear.
Yep.
That's what I hear.
Well known.
Roars to you, Em.
Or maybe. My team lost by 1 point last night.
Did you blow it?
One freaking
I
point.
thought she got pulled over again.
Did you fix your taillight?
No, I was very busy yesterday.
You're doing trivia?
She's
it
not
in your
going to
trunk?
fix her taillight
Okay.
because she's hoping the same cops pull her over again.
Trivia doesn't affect whether or not I'm going to go to the shop or not because it's not open at the times that I go to trivia.
AutoZone's open late, I think.
Where's the light bulb at? Is it in your trunk?
I don't know.
Probably, right?
How am
You
I
open
supposed
it.
to know?
That's an AutoZone down the street. I can help you out. Just buy me a Modelo.
Yeah, I was going to say, Modelo Negro
Whatever.
6-pack.
No, but we lost by 1. I was busy. I had something to do after work, and so I was kind of tied up until 6 o'clock, which is when most auto shops close because they kind of have like a 9 to 5, 8 to 6-ish schedule, and so I'm gonna probably tackle it either today or the weekend.
I fully understand what I'm about to tell you. I have no idea what I'm about to say. This is just me making it up as I go along, but with a little bit of just kind of common sense thrown in. I bet you could buy the part at an AutoZone sort of thing and watch a YouTube video and do it yourself.
Yep.
Probably could, and I might do that. Just like if I can't get in, I also have to get my tire checked as well, so I might as well go.
Oh,
in
you
for
still
both.
haven't? Have you patched it, or is it just holding its air? Or
Okay,
are you
Dad.
filling it up
yes,
every
no,
couple
I
of
haven't
times?
gone, and I had to fill it up this morning. And so this morning was the first time since it happened. I
So
had
what,
to
a
go
couple
fill it up
weeks?
again. Yeah, so it's for 2 weeks.
It's a slow leak.
Exactly. So I know it can be patched, Dad, but I'm gonna get it done later on. Okay.
I repaired a '77 Mustang on YouTube. Whole thing.
Yeah, right.
But
back, top
that's
to
why I think going to the shop would be good
All
because I can get both done.
This is my last dadding of your tire situation, and then I will let it go. You're a grown woman. You can do it on your own or not. That's exactly what I'd say to Kelly, so I'm saying it to you as well. It'll take you an hour tops.
I know. To learn it or to go to the shop?
To get your tire patched will take an hour tops.
I know this,
Okay,
but
see?
I have not had an hour available to me at the time that the shops are open. I'm not kidding you.
got
I'm at
movies
work
to watch.
I'm at work from around 6:30
Okay.
till 6:30 p.m.
Okay,
I've been
that's
working.
a full day. I'm not.
Yeah.
I know your schedule. You've told me. I'm aware of your schedule. There are tire shops that are open on Saturday and Sunday.
Right, and so I didn't have a chance to do it last weekend, so I'm going to do it this weekend.
Okay.
What kind of
And
car do
I-
you drive? What is it?
Kia Optima. Shouts out to Kia downtown LA.
What year is it?
2013.
Yeah, Slee's going to hook you up with the
It's
tail
a
light fix.
$22.95 bulb.
Yeah.
I bet you.
And that patch will be free. It's just an hour of your time.
Oh, I
Kia Optima rear turn signal, brake light, and tail light removal. And it goes 2011, 2015,
Okay.
so they're all kind of the same.
Kind of light bulb.
5-minute video.
There you go.
5-minute video.
okay. Does it
That's it.
say what happens if you mess it up?
15,000 views. This is 7 months
It
ago.
works.
I did learn how to do my windshield wipers. I do know how to change my own tires. I have observed my dad doing my own
Sylvania
oil
Long
change.
Life is the light bulb.
Well, what's the number? What's the
I
number?
think it's the same, literally. That
Yeah,
you
what's
put
the
in your
stock number?
fan.
What's the number?
in the free refrigerator. By the way, that light of all the light bulbs in
Oh,
the
yeah.
world,
I'm trying that.
that refrigerator light bulb to replace is like quantum
No, you don't do
physics.
that. Yeah,
It's
you don't do that.
impossible.
The water filter, to get the water filter.
That's
repaired.
impossible too.
It never actually clicks on perfectly.
that
Water is
just to
dripping.
get to that light bulb in the refrigerator is impossible.
Yeah.
But dads,
Yes.
I know it'll take an hour tops to get all these things done, and it'll cost less than $70.
Do you know why I am talking to you like this right now?
Because this is what you would tell your children. I
Because
get it.
it's a safety issue. Because I want you to remain safe. Because I
understand.
want you to be in one piece. Because I care about you and your safety. And
Okay.
driving without a brake light is unsafe. And I want
It's
you to
only
be safe.
One of the brake lights.
What
you
if
can
that
see the other
person is
one.
missing one eye and they only look to one side?
They should not be driving if they are
and
missing
you
one eye.
shouldn't be driving with one tail light.
It's gonna get fixed this weekend. Duh.
What happened? Well,
gonna go to my
one
room.
tail light was out. Well, what happened to the other person? Well, they could only see through one eye. So
Look.
they met.
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
I mean,
Buenos
you
dias.
showed us a picture. You driving yesterday. Is that safe, sir? Come on.
Well, I sent a picture to Emily of me observing the speed limit.
Oh, you're going speed?
Yeah. So maybe you should put your phone away, sir.
I'm fine.
I was trying to drive home
do
yesterday.
as I say, not as I do, right?
110, closed, both sides. No idea what was going on.
What?
Yeah,
This
just-
morning?
No, yesterday. For about like 12 minutes.
Fatality. That's usually when
No,
they close it.
no, you know, I think it was they were working on there was a bridge underneath the 110. They were working on some power lines kind of close to it. So I'm assuming it had something to do there because I saw nothing else. Then everything. So I literally was like, I got a football in my trunk. Anybody want to go on the other side of the 110? We'll throw it around. There wasn't a soul on the other side of the freeway.
One of those things, you know, when they
It's
close
very
off
eerie,
the
by the way.
110, like for everyone can like bike and walk on the 110, like
Yeah, they do
everyone's
that
every
like a
couple
day or
years.
two a year, like Earth
Yeah,
Day or something.
so it's almost like that, where you could just
Should've
go
just
on a
left
little
your
walk.
car there and walked home. Pick it up in the morning.
We could have played flag football
Leave it in the shoulder.
on the 110 South. We'd have been fine.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
You need to have a conversation with your boy Cody.
Why? What happened?
He had a bad day yesterday.
Oh, boy.
So,
Which part?
well, one part in particular. And I liked Cody, not so much anymore. Cody and I are in the same motorcycle gang. Home by dark. Let's be safe out there. The pythons. Yesterday we did an Ask Cody.
Uh-huh.
And one of the questions was, when Cody goes to a Mexican restaurant, what is his 3-item combo of choice? Do you know what one of his items was, Jorge?
Don't tell me he said salad.
No, almost just.
Okay, wait. Just guess which one it was. Guess what it was.
Salad.
Rice.
That's
Yes.
complimentary.
Yes,
That's what
of
makes
course.
it a
That's
combo.
what
Yeah.
makes it the combo.
Yeah, that's what comes
You
with it.
get the rice and beans. They're on typically the left side of the plate.
It's like saying you want fries at McDonald's with your meal. It's like,
Beans
yeah,
are
it
on
comes
one
with
side,
it.
Beans are on one side. You got the rice on the other.
He picked, I believe it was taquitos, and I forget.
Did
He
you
said
do
some sort of like
enchilada?
carne asada
A
plate.
carne asada plate, which is not a part. That's its own thing. That's not
Did
part
he
of
do
a combo.
enchilada or no?
No, I tried to help him by offering an enchilada. I tried to help him by offering a taco, a chile
what was the other
relleno.
thing?
He picked flautas
flautas.
was his
That's
first
what it was,
choice,
flautas, yep.
and then he said carne asada plate, and then rice. It was,
Mm-hmm.
it was the end of our
Cody.
relationship.
Come on,
as I
it's
knew,
Cody.
I'm like,
Rice.
I understand that. I get it, but. Like,
Rice
I'm
is
like,
included.
Cody was kind of my guy. Like I'm like, he's smart. He's a hardworking guy. I'm a fan of
took
Cody.
him to-
He's got a python.
He's got a python. We're in the same motorcycle gang, and then that.
I took him to a place where it's a tamal and 3 taquitos, and the rice and beans were complimentary. Like,
Yes.
it comes with the
Yeah.
meal. Cody, you could have just said a tamal.
His
and
third
taquitos,
item was a
man.
BLT.
Oh, jeez.
It
Cody,
was.
We're not friends anymore either.
Yeah, it is the inspiration for our draft today. We're going to be drafting our favorite ethnic cuisines.
Yep.
That is coming up at sometime in the 12 o'clock hour. I've never quite wrapped my
Is
head
that
around when
noon?
we're doing that. At 12. Steve Avila from the Rams is going to join us in the 12 o'clock hour as well.
The
We have
Rams'
Kyron
new
Williams
center.
there. Rams' new center, who General Blade, also known as Jim Everett, said he thinks it's going to really help that team. So we got that coming up. We've got all of the stuff that we do. We got Factor Cap, we got Rabbit Hole, we got all that. But the Dodgers, Slee,
They're struggling.
Dave
They're
Roberts
struggling.
Dave Roberts is feeling it, or he just knows he's got a winning hand. Like, he may have a royal flush, and he may be like, look, you can bet all you want. I know I can't lose this hand, because he called Yamamoto that guy the other day. He said another thing yesterday that I think is absolutely fascinating. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. What? Okay.
A little sabor.
Cody would not know about this at all.
Exactly. He's getting a carne asada plate. Jeez, Cody.
Travis is this is how you drive home.
I'm not gonna
Does
lie.
that exist?
down.
Sorry, does carne asada plate exist?
Yeah.
Or is it just like just like all the meat? Does that mean that like?
It's like ordering a
Tortillas
steak.
Tortillas are on the side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Get
actually
your
think I
carne
ordered that
asada,
at this one
rice,
place next in
beans.
Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Casita del Campo. Is that what it's
Casita
called?
del Campo, you guys, sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
It usually comes with like a
basically
charred
making your own.
jalapeno
Yep,
and a charred onions,
A little
and
bit
Okay.
of guac, a little bit
Yeah.
of sour
So
cream,
it's
a
not a
little bit of
combo.
lettuce.
it's kind of fajita adjacent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a cousin to
Just
fajitas.
Yeah, just you're
Yeah.
not getting the
And
side
rice and
of it.
beans included with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Come on, Cody. Jeez.
These are the things that. Here are the two things. Like if you said to me, if I had to, if I was a journaler, which I'm not, but if I were, the two things I would have journaled from this show this week are you leaving for a weekend away at midnight on a Saturday, and Cody's combo order.
Yep.
These are the things that just I can't let them go. I know it's my problem. I know it's my fault, but I
Yeah.
can't let these things go. They gnaw at the back of my brain to where when I'm trying to fall asleep at night, I'm like.
You wake up again?
No, I don't. I know I haven't fallen asleep. I'm sitting there going like, why not just not go? Why not go the next weekend?
Yeah.
Why not? Just why would you think that the rice wouldn't come with the combo? Like these are the things that
that's why-
bother me.
Why
why
would
I
Emily get her
kinda
tire
like-
fixed? It only takes
Yes.
an hour.
Yes.
That's why I kind of like giving you less details because then I feel like you have so many more questions that are unanswered.
That's a fair way to look at things. Like usually if I have a question, you answer it. I have 4 more questions to the answer because they're equally odd to
Yeah,
me.
but, oh, what do you know? We have Super Crosstalk coming up.
You know when
I like to peel the onion
when
sleeve.
Cody comes in, I'm gonna take a page from your book, and when he comes in, hey, what's up, man? I'm gonna ignore him. I'm gonna ignore him.
Yeah, we're gonna
don't
have to
pick
work
rice.
back. You know,
Don't make eye contact with him.
Exactly.
Trav turned the corner like
he's a fellow Big West guy. Like I liked past tense. I liked him. We were on the same page.
Drop him
Those
back
have
to Prospect
biker
on your
gang.
biker club.
We were going to send him back to Double A. Like I was ready
Take
to
his
make the
patch
call
off.
up. Yeah, exactly. The Dodgers. How about this, Al? In their last 16 games, Dodgers won 14 of their last 16. They have outscored their opponents by a collective score of 100 to 31. They have pitched to a
100 to 31.
100 to 31.
Is that good?
That's quite good. That's yeah. They have a 100 to 31 differential. They have pitched to a 174 ERA in those last 16 games. Their offense. I don't even really want to talk about their offense because it just kind of speaks for itself. I don't know if we have to get into Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and Muncy and Hernandez and Pest and all these other guys that have just Will Smith that have just been terrific. Oddly, and I think, quite frankly, this is the one part that I do not believe is super sustainable. They have the 3rd best defense in Major League Baseball. I think that number will find its own level, but it's way better than anybody anticipated. And Dave Roberts was talking about it, and he said that this is the most complete baseball he's seen his team play for a period of time since he's been there. That just pitching, defense, offense, bullpen, starting pitching, just across the board, this is the most complete that he's seen a Dodger team play. And keep in mind, this is a team that has been winning 100 games kind of every year, and he's saying this is the best version of that. That's really saying something, in my opinion.
So I want to try as best as I can. I think I can give a good perspective on this. Is it possible for Dodger fans just to enjoy the moment?
No. Next question.
Let's try this again. You have no idea. Anything can happen. What the Dodgers have been able to do over this stretch run is it's how do I describe this? Because in one sense, they are incredibly overrated because they have not won in the playoffs. They have not cashed in when they needed to.
If you're waiting for me to argue, you're not going to get it.
In another sense, it is special what they've done.
Yeah.
But I get that let's have some stop signs here. The reason why I say is there any way to just kind of appreciate what's happening here? Dave Roberts can't say when you've won 14 of 16 games and Teoscar Hernandez is
We'll get to him.
having a baller season and Muncy's hitting Well, he can actually stop Muncy from having some momentum by sitting him in a game.
Look, to be fair, he only hit 4 home runs in about 6 at-bats, so let's sit him down for a second.
That Ohtani is still the best player in baseball. That Glasnow might have the best stuff in Major League Baseball.
Right.
That Yamamoto is starting to turn things around. There's some other pitchers doing some good things as well. I don't think what he can say is what you're thinking. He can't say,
I can't say it.
guys, it's May.
Right.
Guys, how many different times have we been in this position before? I don't want to get too excited right now. I guess he can say that. He could say, I don't want to get too excited. But, okay, then what do you do then if you're a Dodger fan? How do you watch this team right now? How do you get excited for a team that is playing unbelievable baseball? Because I don't have an answer for you. I could just say that it's a good example. Padres got the Dodgers this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
When are we going? Which day am I going?
We're going Sunday. Tomorrow.
What time should I show up?
Show up around 4:30.
Was it a 1 o'clock game?
Glasnow's pitching Friday night.
That's why you get ignored, dude.
That's right. That's right.
Glasnow is pitching on Friday. From a different perspective, it's like, oh my God, this is when we're facing the Dodgers are already amazing. We're facing them when they've won 14 of 16, where they're looking at they swept the Atlanta Braves, this and that. I don't really know how to put into words, and I get where you're coming from to an extent of, can you just appreciate what they're doing? And I think your answer is, no, I don't know if I can.
No, I can't, and I'll explain why.
So earlier in the season, we were talking about when are they going to start firing at all cylinders?
Yeah.
Is this it right now? Is
Yes.
this what they look like?
This is fifth gear. This is what this team looks like in fifth gear. For the first 2 weeks, two and a half
tough to
weeks,
argue that.
it was they were in third gear. They weren't stalling out, but they're okay.
But we don't have Bueller. We don't have Evan Phillips, right? He's on the IL.
He
Joe
is.
Kelly, like all those relievers.
They can add more good players, but the point is, the fill-ins for these guys, they're getting the job done.
Right.
It's not like, hey, they're
smashing
they've
teams.
blown
But they go
some
even
Run
higher.
saves.
differential.
You going to get better than perfect? They might get different people doing perfect, but they're really, really good right
You
now.
could outscore 130 to 30.
Yeah, okay, but the result is basically the same. Is what I'm getting at. You're firing on all
What she just
cylinders.
said, I do think is interesting that there is still an opportunity for it to look a lot better. Not a lot better.
I think it can
but
look
to
as
better.
good with different players. Are you going to get better than 100 to 31? Are you going to get better than 14 and 2?
You're
Are you
not.
going to, you know what I mean? I don't know how much better than that you can be.
You're not, but do you just have more weapons that are available to you?
They're different weapons, but the results are the same. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to take to work? Do you want me to drive the Porsche? Or do you want me to drive the Mercedes? They're okay. You know, I'm getting there in style, regardless of how we're doing it.
Probably go Lexus, to be honest with you.
I would go Chevy, Silverado, High Country. That would be my first choice. But so here's the thing. I want to go back to what you're talking about. You're talking about, can you get excited? No. What you can do is you can enjoy it while it's here. You can enjoy the game. You can watch Shohei Ohtani hit a ball 464 feet and go, what the was that? You can do that. You can watch a guy like Gavin Stone yesterday pitch and go, wow, we got another young guy who seems to be kind of figuring it out. You can watch Yamamoto go out there and just lock guys up and say, whew, that's amazing. But me, and I would argue most Dodger fans, and Dodger fans, go ahead and get in on this, 877-710-ESPN,
Greg just calls from the office.
710-3776, is I have too much scar tissue to be like, this is the year. Because I've seen them go win 111 games. I've seen them win 106 games. I've seen them be the best team in baseball over 6 months. I've seen them get off to a fairly modest start and then just mash the gas for 3 months, dust everyone. And then October rolls around and it's, hey, we're supposed to get hits. And I have scar tissue. I have scar tissue from that happening as often as it does. So
Can I tell you where it could be different?
Sure.
Shohei's the greatest player that we've ever watched play the game. There's an argument to be made that he's the greatest player to ever watch. Shohei Ohtani, why do you think he chose the Dodgers over every other team that he could have played with in baseball? He chose them because it gives him the greatest chance to win. What he went through in his 6 years with the Angels, there was never an opportunity to accomplish anything. I think that's going to Does it have to bear fruit in October? Of course it does. Do we have to see it happen in front of our eyes? Because we've seen what happened to Mookie and Freddie, just use them in these last couple postseasons, or all of them. But I think if you want to be optimistic, I think what you could say is we have the greatest player who's so desperate to win, merging with an organization. You could say the best organization right now in baseball.
Sure.
However, just you can't count the postseason because then that completely goes out of the picture if you count the postseason. I think trying to look at it from that perspective of having the hope or having the optimism, I think that comes with. We also have Shohei, and we never have had Shohei.
You're right. He is the best player in the league. He is the ultimate difference maker. He'll be even more of a difference maker next year when he comes back and you add another, A+ arm to your rotation. I'm not disagreeing with that. We've seen him perform in big moments. The very small opportunities we've had, whether it's All-Star games or WBC stuff, we've seen him show up and be very comfortable in those moments that, he's going through this crazy Ipe thing and he really didn't seem to miss a beat. It doesn't seem like chaos or pressure affects him all that much. I am optimistic for him. But I'm also very realistic when it comes to seeing how some of their other very best guys have performed in the postseason. Sometimes good, sometimes not good. And I'm not going to do the thing that I think, this time's going to be different. Why? Ohtani? Okay, maybe.
Pretty good difference.
It is, but it's still, let's say he is exactly what he's been. But let's say the other guys do what they've done against the Padres, against the Diamondbacks. Let's say they are banged up injury-wise, that trying to set the bar for, hey, they won 107, whatever. It's just, they're awesome. They're really good. They're super. I enjoy turning on all 1 hour and 55 minutes of that game yesterday. That's what it was, by the way, 155.
They're like 210 a night.
It was crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying it. I love watching the games, but it's not one of those, this is different. I think what's interesting, what was it, 2 years ago?
Okay.
Where Dave said, we're going to win the World Series. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then
I thought it was last year.
Was it last year?
No,
Yeah.
I think it was the year before.
I thought it was the Padre year. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter, quite frankly. One of those 2 years, he was saying, this is our year. Okay, and obviously it wasn't. But what he said about Yamamoto
if he says
2
it
days
every
ago.
year,
He
will increase his odds.
What he said about Yamamoto a couple of days. Look, he's one of those guys. He's that guy that every time he goes, we got a chance. Okay, felt premature to both of us, but he's been really good. He's talking about this is the best, most complete version of his team that he's seen in I think this is his 8th season coaching the team or whatever it is. Maybe he knows. Look, Dave Roberts knows baseball, right? We can talk about his management of the rotation and the following the math and all that. Fine, whatever. Guy's been around baseball his whole life. He knows baseball. He may know he's got a royal flush. You know what I mean? If I have a royal flush, I can't lose. Now, he may think he has one of those. He may think that you can bet all you want. You can say, well, what about the Padres? What about the D-backs? What about the Nats? What about the Cardinals? Okay, I have a royal flush. I have the nuts. You can't beat me.
Yeah, but here's what he's not doing. He's not guaranteeing you anything. He's just saying, hey, this is as good as it gets.
No, but you're right. But, Al, when you say, hey, listen, your team's won 100 games every year. Where does this rank? Oh, this is the best one I've ever seen? That's saying something.
It's saying something, but if you're answering that question, that could be a very honest, genuine answer to that question. What he's not saying is, hey, I know I was wrong a couple years ago about winning a World Series. Like, he's not doing that. I got and some of the numbers that you threw up, the winning of 14-16, the run differential, how they're just smashing teams.
Pitching great, defense is good.
All that stuff. Like, I kind of see where he's coming from.
And fact check, you guys were right. You can clip that off. It was March 24th, 2022. So it was the Padres' year. So it was the year before they did that. So on the
What are
Dan
you gonna
Patrick
do?
show.
Another W,
Another fact check for Alan Sliwa.
I think you said it first.
She's never going to give me the credit.
Hey, you guys said yesterday.
We took a baby step towards admitting we were wrong, but then she assigned the correctness to the wrong person.
You guys said I never admit when I'm wrong. I'm admitting that when I'm wrong. You guys are right.
It's a baby
in
step.
2022 is 2 years ago.
You got to walk before you can run.
This is why she doesn't want to give credit. Is because then you call her out, hey, look, she just gave us credit.
We're not arguing that I'm a bad guy. I can see. I can see. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Kenny, who's downtown. Kenny, what's going on this morning?
Hey, fellas. So I'm going to go back to 2012. So we had a great series against the Giants in late July. Kershaw capped it off with a shutout, and we swept them that weekend. And the Times had a headline in terms of calling broom service, and I was reminded of that because at that point
line.
I sent 4 brooms up to 4 of my partners, my law partners, up at our San Francisco office. And then we all got a laugh out of it. They did. Of course, they got the last laugh because the Giants
They won the World Series.
Won the World Series that year, and we didn't even. We were in the mix for a wild card last weekend. We dropped the Saturday game. We ended the series or the season, the regular season, with them, and we just didn't make the playoffs. And so I've been a Dodger fan since about 1969, and the way that we've gone, yes, I'm totally with you, Travis. I enjoy it. It's fun to look at the stats, and believe Freddie Freeman's not even doing what he's capable of. He's got decent batting average, but his power numbers aren't there. But so I enjoy it, but I'm just holding my breath. Baseball is unique in that any guy at any point can go 1 for 20 or whatever happened between Mookie and Freddie.
1 for 22.
At the wrong time
Infield
last
hit.
year. Yeah, so
And any fan can also send brooms up to their friends in San Francisco and then realize that probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Thanks for the call, Kenny.
Yeah, I think that was a kiss of death for us.
Yeah,
year.
like the gods. The gods saw your mail receipt and said, "Oh yeah, Kenny, watch this. Buster Posey's going to go hit 700 in the postseason. Now what, Kenny? I'm with you, Kenny.
Does have a sale on brooms?
We're look. We have scar tissue. We've been through it.
That
We've
part's
seen
fair.
it.
That part's fair.
And it's not that it's not fun. It's not that I like this team a lot. I think that they're going to win a million games. But when it's the second round of the playoffs, when we're in because they're going to have a bye, they're going to be one of the 2 best teams, and it's the second round. And wait a second, they're playing the Phillies in the second round. Really? All right.
It's like if you've been burned by dating in the past. And you've been same pattern happens every time. Get to this one level with this person, and that's when they cut it off. Then you're like, okay, I'm at this level with this person. I'm not going to let myself be comfortable at this point in time.
Yeah, it's also I think there just isn't much of the regular season. It's not like they're going to be in a dogfight for the division. It's not like they're going to be.
But you know what?
We'll see what happens. Like I could see you getting to where you're getting to mentally, is because it is the same script year after year. But I don't think it's the same team.
It's not
because
the same
of Shohei
team.
Ohtani.
But the teams have been different, and Ohtani's obviously
the superstar of all superstars is going to be in his first playoff.
I hope so. I hope you're right, but I reserve the right to protect my feelings. I'm not going to crawl out on that branch. Not yet. By the time we get to September, I will. I'll be out there standing on a leaf. It's going to happen. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
You never have to miss a moment of
Freddie Freeman walk-up song.
That's exactly what
I
was
can't.
thinking.
Yeah.
As I heard it, I was like, oh, that's ready.
Didn't he pick it because this was Acuna's walk-up song and his kid liked it?
Something like that.
Something
yeah.
like
I know
that.
it had to do with his son really likes this song. So I don't
Yeah.
know if it's the Acuna connection or not, but yeah.
Dude, that guy's been ice cold too. He hasn't gotten going. I shouldn't say two. Freddie hasn't been ice cold. That's, when we were talking a second ago about could it get better? You win 14 out of 16. You're outscoring your opponent by, 100 to 31. It's hard to say. But the honest answer is, I guess if you're just picking a guy, Freddie's, by any human standard, he's totally fine. By his standard, he's a little bit under the line. Yeah. And so if he just goes back to being what he is, which is an MVP candidate, then
they should trade him.
They'll get a little better.
They should trade him. Yeah. Get some more value for him.
He's
such a stud. He's such a, like Freddie Freeman, it's just a matter of time. It's not, I don't think anybody's going to quit. Freddie Freeman in a month from now, we'll be sitting here saying that. Remember when Freddie was a little bit cold, or he wasn't the player that he typically is?
He's a pretty good stock.
He wasn't in the playoffs last year, so.
But he's also won the World Series. He's also been good at like that. He's literally one of those guys you don't worry about.
And he's not
at all.
dependent on he only hits home runs.
Right? No, he does everything.
He slaps the ball everywhere and has power. And
I think it was my good friend Oral Hershiser.
Yeah, you guys are friends now.
Yeah, I think we have audio proof of that somewhere.
Yeah, we do.
I think it was Oral that was talking about it. I was watching the game the other day, talking that Freddie is. Oh yeah, it was Freddie and Joe. They were talking because Joe said he has resting complacent face or something like that. He was making that joke. But most guys, when they're scuffling a little bit, they look mad. They got a scowl, and Freddie just looks like a regular guy. That he's usually always smiling and so up and positive that his frustration face is your and mine normal face, and that's how you know he's struggling a little bit because he's not smiling and laughing all the time because he's just a regular person now. That's his depressive state, but he'll get it figured out. Can I vent a little bit to you for a second?
Sure.
You know what I'm done with? Complaining about referees in NBA basketball. The headline this morning was
Wait a minute.
Pacers submit, was it 78 calls to the NBA for review over the last two games.
I counted 81, but 78 is what they submitted.
It seems to me that every NBA game ends with the referees missed it. The 2-minute report. I never want to hear about it again. Oh, they missed the kickball. I never want to hear about it again. The refereeing in the NBA is not very good. Okay, fine. Can we just move past it and just, how about the score? How about who hit the winning shot? How about who missed the free throw? How about who had the turnover? Yeah. I am so done with the refereeing conversation.
First off, you're a liar. Because you've told me plenty of times that you like complaining. So
I like when I complain.
I would think that you looked at Rick Carlisle and you looked at the Indiana Pacers and said, guys, we should hang out. We should hang out.
Rick Carlisle and I don't have a lot of comment.
All right. Okay, that's number one. Number two, is it annoying? Yes. Game one cost Indiana, I think, a game.
I don't care anymore.
Well, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Cost Indiana a playoff game. Okay? 78, yeah, that's absurd. The only thing that I will just say to all of that, of all the complaining, and I think you know this because the greatest coach to ever coach the game, Phil Jackson, used to do this as well. This is literally, we're probably going to get calls going into Game 3.
Sure.
That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a strategy from their coach to try to get some more calls. I'm not telling you it's not annoying. I'm not telling you that it's something that you want to walk away from games. I don't mind them. Listen, if a referee costs a game, you and I were talking about, you said that, hey, did you see that they called a kick ball and they couldn't review this? Those cost games, and you can't review it.
So you know what we should do? After every play, let's stop the game. Let's go through it frame by frame. Up! He touched him with his fingernail. Foul. Okay, next play. Stop. Let's have a game take 9 hours. Let's not get any calls wrong.
But that's a different argument. If that's that argument, I'm with you on the forget the replays in general.
I just want the game to be played. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
Okay.
I cannot listen to every single basketball game post-mortem about the referees. It drives me nuts.
I love the Pacers.
Do you believe what Rick Carlisle says, that small market teams deserve an equal shot? They deserve a fair shot no matter where they're playing. Do you believe that Indiana Pacers, the Orlando Magic, I don't even know,
Utah, Portland,
Utah Jazz, they don't get the calls that the Knicks, the Lakers, the Boston get? Because I think that's not fair. You can't help what city you play for and what market you play for. Each team should have the equal rights to get the foul calls.
Of course they should.
Called.
Yeah, of course they should.
You're 100% right. It's unfair. So is everything else in life. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't strive to do better, that it shouldn't be as equal and equitable and what's the lady with the scale, the lady of the justice Lady Justice. That's what we're all striving for, right? We all have our prejudices. We all have our inclinations. We're all more likely to do this than that. Just based. I don't want to do it anymore.
But
I just can't do it anymore.
Sports is one of our few meritocracies that each team has an equal right to win this game or not. And clearly, the refs are putting a thumb on the scale in the favor of the Knicks.
They're doing it. I'm not arguing that they're not doing it. I don't think they're doing it consciously. I don't think it's hey, the Knicks are market 1, the Pacers are market 68. Okay, that's 4 extra fouls per quarter for the Knicks.
They're getting like a radio go.
Right. I don't think it's
here's
that.
Here's what I will say. I'll just say to Trav that point. If it was like that before, I don't feel like it's as obvious. Let me just use that series as an example. I don't remember the last time Knicks were in the playoffs. I know they were there a couple years, or even last year, whatever it was. The Lakers as an example. Lakers Nuggets, that's a smaller market compared to big. I think we could go back and find specific instances. Lakers and the Kings in Game 7, or it was Game 6 to get it to Game 7, and then Game 7, same thing. I think we can find, but do you guys feel like it's still that way? Like I don't feel like I watch games saying to myself, well, this is blatantly obvious that they want this team to win or that.
The greatest example of the blatant situation that you're talking about was Sacramento and LA.
Yes.
That was the most blatant one probably in the history of sports, where it's like it was funny. Hey, what the hell's going on out there? That's how obvious that one was, but I don't think it's heavy-handed. It exists. I firmly believe that it exists because we all do things subconsciously, right?
Sure.
That handsome men, pretty women have advantages that gargoyles like me do not have, right? That I get it. We all get little things here and there that other people, that's just the way that stuff goes sometimes. And when it seems that before we break down the games, we're breaking down the officials' performance in the games and why the game was decided by the referees, when occasionally there is an egregious mistake where it's like, oh my gosh, but hey, 78 calls, get out of here with that. Stop. It's just bores me to death.
Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention to it. Do you feel like that's been the conversation?
Feels like it to me.
Yeah, maybe,
it feels like it to
in
me.
This series more than anything else.
Hey, did you see, Foo, that your boy Cody had rice in his combo? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it, I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
What's up, fool?
Hold on, let me work on that cadence.
Hold on. One out. One. Oh, yeah. Smooth. Smooth operator.
Cody didn't have to do that yesterday.
I know, Cody.
Still reeling from his Rice decision.
All right, fool. So I came across a story. It says an aerospace engineering company has designed a glass pod that can be attached to an existing aircraft. This pod has 2 seats and allows passengers to enjoy a 360-degree view during your flight.
So like a motorcycle sidecar for a plane?
Okay, so remember the Jetsons, how they had that little
Yeah, the little
glass
bubble.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that, I mean, I know you travel here and there. Would you sit up there just to see clouds and stuff? Like
Hell
just
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think, listen, if I don't want to look, I just get back to my book or whatever else I'm doing. I think that's pretty damn cool. You're in the freaking sky. Now, 10, 15 minutes might go by, and it's like, all right, well, I kind of already saw everything that I need to see.
Sky's not really changing that much.
Sky's not really changing. Would I try it? Of course I would. He's not going to try it. This guy won't travel to
Has nothing to do with travel.
Flagstaff.
I don't like looking out the window on the second floor of this building.
Yeah, you're a little height sensitive.
Hell no. It has nothing. Like, I'll get on an airplane. It's not, but I get on the airplane and eyes forward. I'm not looking. Hell no.
You ever seen when the cracks are? Some people post videos or
Oh, it's
photos
the
of
worst.
the
No,
cracks
no, no, I don't wanna know that.
in the window
Yeah,
pane.
I don't want to know that.
So what would happen if there's a crack in that freaking glass?
Let me tell you
thing?
something. There's a crack. Probably already going down. That's we're calling it there. I would do it because that stuff doesn't like you said. I think you said, what were you in, like this New York building or whatever, at a hotel, something like that?
You used to work at this
It was
building.
down here. My first job out of college, I worked for a company called Canon Astro, selling copiers and
Printers?
fax machines and
They-
printers.
You had a cube basically like
on
right
the window. They're like, hey, we got this open when you want it. I'm like, nope, put me
I
next to the men's room. I
I
don't want to
would-
be anywhere near this window.
I would look at that and be like, hell yeah, that's where I want to be. So I would do something like that.
Not
Yeah.
a
And would
chance.
you?
No, I'm already a nervous flyer. No. But
I don't even pay for first class. Imagine, I'm not paying for that.
well, of course,
First
Well, you didn't
class,
ask
that's
if
different.
you didn't ask if I'm paying for it. I thought you were giving it to me.
limited money.
You're gonna have to
Whatever.
pay for it. It's
My aunt and uncle used to live in this apartment building in downtown New York, and it was next to the Brooklyn Bridge. They were on the 64th floor in the corner room. Gorgeous apartment, gorgeous place, beautiful views.
64th
But
floor.
when it would be windy and when it would be stormy, you can hear the
Yeah, the whole
It moves.
all moving.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it's like moving back and forth, and it's shaking a little bit. 'cause
It's
it
on-
has
it's
to,
on
supposed
four
to.
wheels.
You know what the worst explanation is that, oh, it's designed to move.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, that makes me feel a lot better. So this building that's made out of steel and concrete is designed to bend?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no thanks.
Because you bend, don't break, just like the Rams defense.
Bend, don't break.
If look,
She's on
that's
it.
a better explanation. They said, look, this building is the Aaron Donald of buildings. It bends, it doesn't break. Okay, you can sell me on that, but it's supposed to move like 6 feet either direction. Really? That seems like a terrible idea. Hell no.
That was very disorienting.
Yeah, I got another one here. So we talked about Sandra. I can't say her name. Is it Bullock?
Bullock.
Sandra
Okay,
Bullock.
cool. Yeah, her.
Tell me
I call
more.
her Sandra. Okay, so we talked about her this
Sandy.
week. So I went home and watched Speed.
Okay.
You know,
I actually haven't seen that before.
Okay,
One of the greatest movies.
I know I'd love it. I know I'd love it.
So then
The Rock, Lethal Weapon 3.
and Speed. Hey, how about
Speed.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Well,
Speed
I'll
is
tell you
good.
the movie.
Speed's a good movie.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then I came across this interview that says that if her and Keanu Reeves would make a Speed 3, they would knock it out of the park. And also said that she would like to work with him in any other movie before she retires or at some point in their career, she wants to work with him again. Is there anybody that you want to work with in your career that you worked in the past or somebody that you want to work with in the future?
Well,
Yours is a little interesting.
I've got a few choices. Like, I honestly have gotten along with just about everybody I've ever worked with. I have. There was one job that paid a whole hell of a lot more than any other job I've ever had. Didn't end great. You know, if the old check came with the new hookup, yeah, I'll do that again. Why not? Why not? But that is purely a financial play.
Okay, I'll throw one in, and I'll keep it, obviously on air. When I was still on the partnership side, I thought it was one of the most entertaining radio shows I've ever listened to. Max and Marcellus was just a great combination. Their chemistry, East Coast, West Coast, they talked about the stupidest things, but I always thought it was very entertaining. I used to sell their show a lot. I'll put up, those were the two that I would say. And I just love those guys individually. So, those two.
So mine is probably not someone like everyone knows a lot. So one thing I do love that I worked with this person on the network side as a producer, I produced them. I really liked working with Rachel Lindsay. So she was the Bachelorette at one point in time. She now is with The Ringer. I really liked working with Rachel Lindsay. She was really fun to work with. I enjoyed that a lot. I also worked with Monica McNutt a lot when she first started at ESPN Radio, weekend nights. I really liked working with her. So those are two talent that I would love to work with again in my career. But my favorite coworker I've ever had, and shouts out to you, I don't think you're listening, but I'll clip this off and send it to you. I love working with my coworker, Brian Matlack. He is the producer for a lot of play-by-play over on the national side. He is the kindest human being that's ever existed on this planet. He's very Canadian. He's a huge Leafs fan. I'm sorry, bud. And
they just fired their coach again. They're like the Lakers.
But if I could work with anybody else again, I would love to work with Ryan Matlock again.
It's a good question. I like that. It's like the better question. Never again. I mean,
answer.
Yeah,
never again.
I might be the same thing. It might be the same thing. Money changes a lot of things. Speaking of fired head coaches, the Lakers are still looking for somebody, and one of their former coaches has an idea. It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Guess who I talked to this morning, Slee? I talked to my pals at Rotolo Chevrolet. What's up, Armando? Talked to Armando this morning. We're working a couple of things out. And this is what happens when you go to Rotolo Chevrolet. You develop relationships because the customer service is second to none. The customer service is why they've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. 13. Nobody wins the championship 13 years in a row. Nobody wins MVP 13 years in a row. Unless, of course, we're talking about Rotolo Chevrolet. So if you've been thinking about a Chevy car truck, especially if you've been thinking about a Silverado, you got to get out to Rotolo Chevrolet. It's right off the 210 Sierra Avenue exit in Fontana. You cannot miss it. And if you're thinking, ooh, Fontana's a little far for me, don't sweat it. Go online, RotoloChevy.com. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com. You're going to feel good about it. It's courteous. It's upfront. It's transparent. You're not going to be thinking, is this a good deal or not? You're going to know, and you're going to tell everybody, and they're going to tell everybody, and then they go win it for a 14th year in a row. So if you're looking for that Chevy, Rotolo Chevrolet. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
Did you know that if you're an employer
Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
That was a quick breather.
Yeah, that was a quick one. When do you do the
30-second timeout?
Yeah, one of these real quick.
Unless it was a review or something.
Yeah. When do you do the draft order, Em? When do you put it? When do you make it up off the top of your head?
Third or fourth?
Whenever I feel like it.
Okay. Can I put in a very polite request so we know sooner? Because I
will take the request.
Where I am picking is important to my strategy. I really need to kind of work my way through. We're drafting ethnic cuisines today because Cody broke my soul yesterday.
Now that you asked, you're going to be fourth.
Well, no, it's fine. I have a strategy for fourth. I have a strategy for all 4 spots. I just need to know which strategy to employ.
Okay. Well, maybe
I'm
I'll
going
tell
to
you
end
later.
up first in this one where I don't need first in this one.
Well, there's plenty to go around.
I don't need first in this one.
Rice.
Come on, Cody.
Dude.
Jeez. Prospect now. You're a prospect.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, isn't that what they do?
Yeah.
Yeah. They do that at the high school basketball games I go to. Hey, we'll take one of these.
You know what I don't like? When did this become a thing?
By the way, this is why you should watch us on YouTube, so you can see me touch my shoulders like this over and over again. It's a very important part.
You know what I don't like? I don't like when, back in the day, when a team went on a run, right? You would call a timeout and be simple. The coach would just call a timeout, everybody would walk over there. Now, as part of it's very creative, talking crap the other way, it's the other team that calls the timeout for you. Do you ever see a player, okay?
I'm not following you. Take me through this.
I got you. So, let's say the Lakers are playing the Nuggets.
Okay.
This is actually a perfect example.
How many are they behind by?
They're down 12. Okay. Nuggets go on a run. This actually might not be a good example. No, this might not be a good example because Darvin Ham would not have called timeout.
Okay.
But let's play around here. So Nuggets, let's say, go up by 12. They're on an 8-0 run.
Okay.
And instead of Darvin Ham calling timeout, it's Aaron Gordon that looks over to the Lakers bench and calls timeout for the Lakers. I'm like, oh, Jesus. This is like a thing that you got players.
Is that just a way to crap talk now?
Yeah.
Is that all it is?
It's basically saying, like, you guys need a timeout. They're like, I know we do. Let us call the timeout for you. I see players doing it. I see fans doing that every time. And like, camera will view it, just everybody calling timeouts. I'm like, everybody relax here. They got it.
But they don't get the timeout, right? The team has to call the time, right?
Team has to get it, but they're basically saying, like, hey, this is such a bad run. We'll call the timeout for you.
They're just talking junk.
Yeah.
Okay, with sign language.
With sign language, yeah.
I like that. Who was it? There was somebody recently that learned how to
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, that's what it was. He learned ASL.
Oh, that's what he got fined for.
And did
like that?
something
that's right.
that was profane and got fined for it.
It actually wasn't profane. It was like something on top. It was like I'm on top or whatever like that.
Well,
in terms of no, not that. But it was like it was more like no. This is what I was standing on business. That's what he did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not profane.
Yeah.
But let's get creative with it. Let's go back to hiding cell phones and goalposts and Sharpies and socks. Let's get the
little
TO
action.
Let's get creative for sure. So Byron Scott was on TV and former Laker player, former Laker coach, former Pacers coach, former Nets coach. Is that 3? Those are 3 stops? You ever
I think you're right.
You coached the Kings?
No.
No? Okay. Multiple stops as a head coach in the NBA. Here's Byron Scott.
Make LeBron the coach. And I got nothing but love and respect for LeBron. I love him. I think he's one of the greatest players that ever played this game. But it's obvious to me, at least, that he's making a lot of decisions that's going on in this organization.
No doubt.
From a coaching standpoint to a player standpoint. So if you're going to allow him to make those decisions, all right, sit on the bench and make those decisions as well.
So I think this is one of those times where he's both being funny and there's a lot of truth in the joke that he's making, which is, look, if you're going to be this involved in how we're going to come out of timeouts and which plays we're going to run and which sets we're going to play and all these other things, then why don't you be the coach? Ha, ha, ha. But seriously, why don't you be the coach? Did I hear that right? Am I understanding the tone correctly?
I listened to it. I read it. I tried, having it come from a couple different angles. The fact that it's Byron Scott, too, I don't know if Byron Scott is, and maybe this is just his sense of humor. There isn't this crazy sense of humor. So I'm like, is that a dry joke? Is it not a dry coach?
I think it's
joke?
Both.
Okay, let's take it for what it is. Let's just kind of pretend here for a quick second. If that's what is just the game to play, I guess you want to call it. I hear what he's saying. What he's saying is like, I'm assuming this.
What he's saying is he's the coach already. Let's make it official.
Well, it's not even just that. Is if things are going well, he's probably going to get a lot of the credit for it. If things are not going well, I forget who said it yesterday. It's I think it was Windhorst that said it, that he'll cut you with 1,000 cuts, or what's the term that you say?
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Death by 1,000 cuts. So I just kind of looked at it more as, okay, I understand that it's never going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I think LeBron also likes I could kind of blame it on somebody else. It's not on me.
Oh, for sure.
Every 2 years, I mean, I don't know what the total count is of how many coaches that he's had over his career. And listen, give the man the credit. He's been successful everywhere he's gone. He's won championships for the Miami Heat, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Los Angeles Lakers. But to not think LeBron is involved, that's why part of that quote yesterday from Windhorst too, he doesn't want any association with it. That's tough for me.
Well, so let's kind of go through this. Number one, just take the most practical application of this. LeBron James knows as much or more basketball than probably anybody on the face of the earth. He's LeBron James, and he's a basketball genius. He understands the chessboard as well or better than anybody.
Yep.
Okay, so this guy with that guy, sure. He understands, his own limitations at this point as far as time and all of those things that he can do. Sure. But I think what you said is why, because, by the way, this isn't unprecedented. We've had it's been a very long time since we've had one, but we had, I think Bill Russell did it, Dave Cowens did it. We've seen it happen before. It's not in Major League Baseball. Pete Rose did it for a long time with the Cincinnati Reds, where he was the player manager. It's unusual, but it's not completely unprecedented.
Did anything ever happen in the modern era?
Probably not, but there is a model for it that exists that's not ancient history. Pete Rose did it 40 years ago.
Is there a discount for the front office?
But I think what you're hinting at and what you're saying is, and what Brian Windhorst was alluding to, is he likes when I come out of a huddle and I'm basically shaking my head like, we're not doing that and we're going to go do this, and it works, then it's like, no, I told AD we're going to run this, and if it doesn't, it's I talked to him over there. I didn't have nothing to do with that.
He doesn't want to take the
he wants it both ways. Yeah. I think he wants the credit of being the basketball genius, which he is, and being able to adjust on the fly, which he can. But when it doesn't work, it's, look, I mean, we don't know, and I know this was what AD said, but sometimes we don't know what we're doing out there. I want somebody to drop this on in the event that it goes bad and it doesn't land on me.
Doesn't he have kind of the best of both worlds? Let's just use this year as an example. The season ended. What were people saying about LeBron James by the time the year ended? What were people saying? Think about
at the very end?
Right now.
That he's still awesome.
Yes. That's all people were saying. People were saying when he stepped out on the floor, it was Jokic, Murray, and LeBron James. Look what they're doing in the fourth quarters. That was the conversation we left with LeBron James. He's 39 years old, all that. Kind of got the best of both worlds anyways. He gets all the credit still. He gets the, oh my gosh, look what he's doing at this age. And then he also gets, the Lakers have just fired head coach Darvin Ham. See what I'm saying? That's kind of been his career. I'm not saying that his career hasn't come with bumps and hiccups, and I think Miami was the perfect example. Remember, he goes to Miami, we're going to win not 3, not 4, not 5, and then they lose in their first year to the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah. A lot of that was on LeBron James. A lot of that.
It's the only time he ever actually was bad in the finals.
But he's had moments where he's taken criticism, but for the most part, Bron has just been seen as this.
Because he's so good.
Of course he is.
Yeah. Because he's so good.
But he does have the best of both worlds but did you see that, Coach?
And it's not unlike his Twitter philosophy. There's just enough. That's not what that means. There's just enough.
And he'll delete it if he doesn't like it.
Right. And I know what that means. You know what that means. Right. And then somebody says, hey, does this mean this? No, it doesn't mean that.
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Why would you even think that?
And by the role that he has now, great player, legend of the game, genius basketball mind, all these things. It's when it goes right, it's, oh my gosh, look at what LeBron can put together. And when it doesn't, it's, that coach over there is not very. It's you're able to thread the needle. What if you kind of split the difference?
Mm-hmm. Or the role players weren't good enough.
Right.
Or
There's
or
always
that.
something else. But if he's the actual named coach, then hey, why didn't you call timeout there? You can't say, well, he's, hey, why didn't you take that guy out with foul trouble? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? There is no,
that'd be
go
awesome.
ask him.
Can you see it?
Right?
I mean,
okay.
the LA Times put out there that they want somebody with experience. LeBron has a lot of experience. I don't know.
As a player.
Yeah.
Right? J.J. Redick has a lot of experience as a player. What if you took those two guys, made them, I don't want to say
and
staffers.
give them a podcast.
Made them staffers, but not like in the. But hey, listen, we're going to bring in a guy, okay? And a guy that's been around the NBA for a million
Kenny
years.
Atkinson.
Somebody like that. Kenny Atkinson's almost a little too young for this role, but somebody that's been around a long time. But guys, I'm going to teach you just the mechanics, the logistics of doing all this stuff. Both of you guys kind of come along for the ride. I want your input to the point of I'm going to let you make the decisions, but I'll be the one that stands here and takes this and kind of train on the job.
I don't think LeBron wants to be a coach long term, though. I don't think that's his
But he'll
goal.
have input. In other words, I'm going to give you the air cover you need to where you can say, look, that was the head coach's decision, but you can actually make
It's not his
decisions.
long-term goal, but it could be
It's another line on a resume that other people don't have.
I don't think any of us think that's going to happen.
No, I don't either.
But I think it doesn't have to be a long-term goal. It's while he's playing, and then when he's done playing, he's not going to go, coach the Washington Wizards because opportunity became available.
I think that I could see
That would be amazing.
I could see a world in which it's LeBron is the head coach and JJ is the assistant coach. JJ has never been a head coach before. He can kind of try out the head coach stuff from the sidelines in terms of maybe like calling some timeouts, being a top assistant head coach, and LeBron goes and is the named head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, because that would be such fanfare. That would be such something the Lakers, I think, honestly, the Lakers organization might eat up.
I think he would eat it up because, look, I think let's start right here. It's not going to happen. However, he's doing stuff that has never been done. He's playing at this level into his 22nd year. There's a realistic possibility he will either be teammates with or playing against his own child in the league, which is bananas. He's going to make all NBA, all of this stuff. Player coach, I think, and double check this for me, I think Dave Cowens was the last guy to do this, probably in the 70s. It's been 50 years that, hey, I was the first guy to do something in 50 years. Not only was I one of the best, I was also those lines on this Wikipedia page or resume or obituary, however you want to do it, it's like, he did that too. He did that. That Jordan never did that. Magic Johnson wasn't a player. He was a player and then a coach, but never player coach. There's a very small group of people and things, and I know that his resume, his legacy, his wiki page, it's important to him.
Sure.
And I'm not saying it shouldn't be.
Sure.
But that would be a pretty interesting line.
Better be below in-season tournament.
Yeah, Dave Cowens is the last,
Was he the last?
player coach. Like at the same time, simultaneous player and coach was in 1978-79 season.
Yeah, so that's a long time ago. That's 45 years ago. But I mean, we had color TV then. We had cars. You didn't ride your horse to the game.
You were already in the workforce.
I was getting ready to go to middle school. I mean, it is what it is. Nikola Jokic, 3 MVPs in 4 years. That is very select company. Should he be there? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
So this is the order that we're going to pick.
Okay.
Emily is number 1, which is a bad place to be because I'm going to make a lot of people
I
mad with whatever
don't want
I pick.
number 1 in this one. I'm good with a little bit later.
I'm going to have to go personal, which with Emily's
It's a good
favorite
choice.
pick.
Yeah,
So if you like something else more,
yeah,
don't at me.
Okay.
So Emily's first, then Jorge, then Travis, and then Alan.
Okay, I'll take 4.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing our favorite ethnic cuisine, correct?
Sure, yes.
Is Jorge eligible to draft Mexican food?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're allowed to draft American food.
All right.
Consider it taken, my man.
Yeah.
I thought you were...
Unless Emily takes it first, okay?
I
You don't know.
know.
I thought you were French.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
This whole time.
Bonjour.
Parlez-vous espagnol?
Simon.
Simon. All right. So I'm third?
Yeah.
All right, I know what I'm going to get. Unless you might take it first, but I think I know
Okay.
what I'm going to get. We'll see. I don't know.
Go off, King.
Well, I have a lot of variables. Jokic won his 3rd MVP award. And by the way, 3rd MVP award in 4 years, which is super rarefied air. Keep in mind, Kobe Bryant won 1 MVP in his whole career. I think Shaquille O'Neal only has
Shaq's
1.
got 1.
Right.
And I would actually point at Shaq before I even point at Kobe. Shaq had this stage in the
100%
NBA.
he did. So did Kobe.
But Kobe did.
But a lot of Kobe's overlap with LeBron and some other great players.
True as well.
Yeah.
True as well. But just the Shaq had a stage where it was like there wasn't even a question. Like, yeah, as long as he's playing, there's nobody that's got any shot against Shaq. So yeah.
Jokic not only has 3, which makes him the 9th player in NBA history to have 3 or more. The other names on the list are literally the who's who of the NBA. It's Russell, it's Chamberlain, it's Jordan, it's James, it's Magic, it's Bird. Moses Malone is the one on the list. You're like, Moses Malone? Okay, cool. Will Chamberlain. Like, it's all of those guys, I believe with the exception of Moses Malone, are multiple-time champions.
Sure.
Jokic is a one. Now, he's not at the end of the line. He's clearly in the middle of his prime, 3 MVPs in 4 years. But does he feel like he's in that group with Bird and Magic and Kareem and Jordan and James? That just feels like the rarest of rarefied air, and yet there Jokic is.
No, it doesn't feel
It
like
doesn't.
he's in that air. Now, I think what you just said about let's let his career play out.
Sure.
Because if you told me he got, let's say in the next 3-4 years, he got 1 more championship, just 1 more. To get 2, and you didn't get it with an established franchise that always seems to be knocking on the door, has multiple, like the players that you just mentioned, for the most part. They're on historic franchises that have multiple championships.
Celtics. A lot of Celtics and Lakers on that list.
Sure, right?
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's those 2 franchises. But no, I don't think he's on that list. And listen, I also don't know how much of this has to do with personality, how much of this has to do with him kind of leaning into, I am the best player in the world. Like, he's none of that. That's not his personality. If you listen to his speech yesterday on TNT, his speech was kind of the same as it was in the first time he won it. It's like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, so...
It's weird. Is
that's
he
just-
leaning into it, or is he literally that disaffected by
Can I
it?
tell you the only reason why I don't think he's leaning into it? I think that's how he's been his whole career.
Yeah.
So it's not like,
Fair.
you know, sometimes, like, let me use Anthony Edwards as an example, just hypothetically. Anthony Edwards, I think, is leaning into some stuff right now, but I also maybe just wasn't keeping track of Anthony Edwards the way I am today, but I'm sure he's leaning into some stuff right now. I'm trying to kill everything in front of me. Maybe he's doing that because maybe that's how he's always thought, but he's in the playoffs.
Kind of believe him.
I believe him too.
Yeah.
But I also think that I think it's genuine from him. I feel like it's genuine. But it is weird in a sense. Maybe this is just, maybe we don't have true appreciation for what he's doing, and I think that's common. That could easily happen in the moment's time. But the names you mentioned, say, hey, Jokic is right there with it. It's like, whoa.
Because the names that are on that list are literally the greatest players in the history of the league. Right?
And kind of the face of the league.
Yeah.
Right? Like the
Who are the 4 names that we talk about? There are. It's really kind of 3, but you can make a case for 4. And if you really want to extend it to 5, who the greatest player of all time? It's LeBron, Jordan, and Kareem. All on the list. Those are the 3 that everybody kind of knocks around the most. And then there's always hey, don't forget about Wilt Chamberlain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. And then the name that after that is, hey, Bill Russell won 11. Okay, they're all on that list. Nobody's talking about Moses Malone and Jokic is the greatest player of all, at least not yet with Jokic, but it just seems like that is a really small group to crash the party with, and especially with just one title.
Did you make
and by the way, they could get swept in the second round the year after the title, which is even more bizarre.
In a year where he's voted the MVP.
In a year where he's voted the MVP, in a year where coming into the play, I know they weren't the top seed, but coming into the playoffs, it's like the Nuggets are the team to beat. The Nuggets are because of Jokic, because of Jamal Murray, because of all these things. And he got the MVP, and now it's not only are they probably getting knocked out, they might get swept.
I will say this for what it is, right? It's a regular season award, so whatever happens in the playoffs. But I'm with you. I kind of tie the same as well. What'd you make of Shaq yesterday?
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Joker, as the president of the Big Man Alliance, you are the president of the Big Man Alliance. You know I love you. You're the best player in the league. I want to congratulate you, but I want you to hear from me first. I thought the SGA should have been the MVP. That's no disrespect to you, but congratulations. And what do you guys have to do to get back on track versus Minnesota?
Thank you, Shaq. We don't judge people here, so that's fine. It's your opinion. I'm joking.
Hey, all good. I love you. I love your brothers. One thing we always going to do is keep it real with each other. Congratulations. I love you.
No, for real, I think there is a lot of people, a lot of players that deserve it. It's probably details and kind of small things.
Okay, first off, this is a great exchange. You got any issue with him saying that?
It's funny, Al. I was literally getting ready to write it on my pad. I don't know if that is awesome or the rudest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's one or the other.
Let me set this up. Because I think to the defense of Shaq on this, the way they opened up inside the NBA yesterday on TNT, the way they opened it up was they have not yet revealed who's going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
And I think there was a little bit of discussion of who they were picking. And Shaq thought it should be Shai Gilgeous. The one thing I think the repercussions of that, I listened to Shannon Sharp was talking about this last night as well. He does that podcast, Nightcap. He was saying that Shaq sounds bitter. Shaq sounds like another big man, got 3 MVPs over the last 4 years, and Shaq is probably sitting there saying, do you guys know what the hell I was in this league and I have 1 Most Valuable Player award? He came off a little bit like that. I don't know if Kenny Smith said it, if it would have been different or any of that stuff, but that's how he kind of came off in that moment.
To me, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it like that. That's interesting. I throw that into the mix. It's just so unnecessary. Had Jokic said, do you think I'm the MVP? Then you got to say, honestly, since you asked, no, I would have voted for SGA. But to open it up with, hey, good MVP, by the way, it's like, really? But it's also on brand for Shaq. It's kind of funny because of who he's like. Of all the guys you could say it to, Jokic's like, do you think I care? I don't even care that I won it. Do you think I care that you don't think I should have won it? I don't even care if it's here or not. Yeah. I like it because of the two. Shaq is a universally beloved character. Jokic is, I think, very, very popular among most NBA fans. So the stakes are relatively low because they're both well liked. But it is just super gratuitous to smack him over the head with I don't think you should got it, but yeah, good job on you. It's weird.
I would just be like, okay, thanks for your opinion, Shaq.
Well, that's kind of what he said, right?
That. Yeah, it's the timing of it.
And it's also like, I don't know, what are you supposed to say back to that? It's like, okay, like
what would have been funny is, I would have picked Luka. If you'd just throw a third guy in there, but
or say that you shouldn't have won your year that you won for some reason.
Well, what's funny is the case. I don't mind the case for Shai. I don't. It's the youngest team in the NBA, and they had the best record in the Western Conference. They're well above where they should be, and I don't mind that. It's just the conversation couldn't be, hey, what do you think, Shai or Nikola? It was when he presented, when you're giving him the award, it's I would not have voted for you. It's, you know what it's equivalent to? It's something like, it's like the Grammys or an Oscar or something like that. Somebody reading the envelope.
Kanye.
It's that's
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
But Beyonce had the best music video of all time.
Yeah.
It's just the difference is we like Shaq and Kanye's kind of a crazy person.
Yeah.
It's one of those. The response from Jokic could have been, so I have 3 times as many as you do? Cool.
Right.
That would be cool.
And the same analogy, it's like Beyonce's.
Shaq said, "I have 4 times as many championships as you do."
You can make a case that Beyonce's "Single Ladies" was the best music video of that year. Same for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He may be the MVP of the year, but the award went to Taylor Swift for "You Belong with Me."
So if I am following this, SGA is Single Ladies.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
And Jokic is Taylor Swift.
What song did she win for?
"You Belong with Me," the music
I actually
video
know
for
that
"You Belong
song.
with Me."
Credit to me. I'm basically Casey Kasem. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason and Ireland today at 1 after Travis Slee.
You would appreciate this, Morales. You know where I always wish I would have been able to go?
Studio 54.
Hey guys.
Hey, aloha.
Aloha. So I'm excited for our draft coming up. We also have Steve Avila coming up in a little bit, so excited to have both of them on. Or just Steve on, I guess. So my statement is, or my story is, so Drew Bledsoe appeared on Julian Edelman's podcast. I believe it's the Edelman's podcast that's called, like, Games with Names.
Something like that.
It's kind of a cool podcast to talk about the biggest games. They usually have someone in that game kind of talking you through it and everything. So here's what Jules said. This is what Jules said. I'm going to have to censor him a little bit, so bear with me. So pre-show, we're in the green room. So
pre-show
about,
the roast.
Yes, yeah. So we're talking about at the roast. It's pre-show. It's all the people that we're going to be part of the Patriots organization that was going to be on stage. So pre-show, they're in the room. Randy, Drew, me, Gronk, and they're just chilling there. Bill was opening up. He's having fun. He's talking war stories, talking rookies, doing stuff we know that Bill's all about. But it was like amplified because he's excited to see his guys because he doesn't have a job anymore. He said then Kraft walks in, Bledsoe says, and the tension in that room you could cut glass with. That was so awkward. Okay, so Bill Belichick has had complicated relationships with all those guys in that room. He has burned a lot of those guys in that room. He has put them to the ground. But he's a little more separated from his time with them. They have time to think about what he meant to them and what their time at the Patriots organization meant for their careers. Kraft, on the other hand, that is a fresh wound and a wound that might take a long, long time to heal. So my statement is, though, distance heals all wounds. So any sort of hurt you've ever had, its distance will heal it eventually. It just varies on the distance. Travis, fact or cap?
Cap. Some things never go away. Some things never go away, especially if there's a power dynamic involved. And there is a power dynamic involved in the Kraft-Belichick relationship. As successful as Bill Belichick has been, as successful as any NFL coach ever, Bob Kraft has the upper hand in that relationship. He is the owner of the team. He was the boss. If you believe the reporting, Bob Kraft is the reason Bill Belichick is not coaching in this league right now. He has more power than Bill Belichick. And if you are the lesser in the power dynamic and you feel like the person with the higher hand wronged you, you're never getting over that. No matter how much time goes by, that you had an opportunity to help or hurt me and you chose to hurt me, that never goes away.
Al?
Good question. I think we could all kind of take into our personal life. I'll say fact, and here's why. I think you just, over time, you just kind of cope with it, right? Like it doesn't have the same, when something happens in the moment, and even a couple of months after, like it could have like a burning, but you go years, you go 10 years, something like that, just doesn't have the same effect. It just doesn't. You're a different person. I'm sure that individual is a different person. So I think you just cope with it. I feel like that. I lean more towards fact on that.
Yeah, I think the size of whatever happened to you is directly correlated to the ratio of distance you need. So if it's seismic, what they did to you, it requires a lot of distance before you can have perspective. But it depends. Jorge?
Yeah, no, it depends on how they hurt you or whatever. But to this day, there's 3 people that I still don't keep in touch with.
The guy didn't show up at 5:30.
No, well, that's a new one, actually. That's a new one.
Yeah, not enough distance yet.
There's 4.
But it's not enough distance. No, one of them was, one of my coaches, like a soccer coach, 65-year-old man at the time. One day, he's just straight up, don't come over. Don't visit me. Because he felt like I didn't include him in some things, as I was growing, I guess you could say. He felt left out in some spots, and at some point I go to his house and knock on his door, and his wife was happy to see me, and he said, you know what, I don't appreciate you coming over here. Next time you come, don't just show up. Like I'll call you, and that was our split. And it's one of those things where I understood, like, okay, cool, like I'm just gonna keep my distance now. Yeah. He doesn't want to, but then there's other situations where like time has actually
helps.
Yeah, but I'm not seeking for them anymore.
Right.
I'm not, even if I run into people like that, I'm like, okay, cool. Like we had our thing, and
well, look, time will heal most of them. But here I'll use some specific examples without naming names. If you hurt somebody I care about, that's it. That's it. Never again. You do something to a kid, you do something to a wife that you were mean to somebody that I love, we're done.
Sure.
That, like, for good. And it could be a year, 5, 10, a century. That's it. And the other person may have gotten over it. Not me.
All right. I have 2 reasons why I'm going to bring up this next statement. So, first, when I saw Ali Wong 2 days ago, she had this kind of running joke where she's talking about how she recently got divorced. She's 40. She's like, I'm so excited because this is the widest age range of people I can date in my life. I can date a 25-year-old and I can date a 60-year-old, basically. So she.
It's a pretty big swing.
Yeah, she was talking about how she was a 25-year-old had DM'd her, and she was entertaining the idea of maybe going and meeting up with this guy, and she was like, "Wait, I can't meet up with you because you don't even know who Kato Kalin is." So that's one reason. And then last night, it was my friend's birthdays, and we were talking about stuff, and he was talking about one of like these gifts that he got. He asked his mom for when he was like 8 years old or something like that, and it was a monogrammed Walkman. With it was like a specific color of Walkman too. Anyway, he was like, I can't believe my mom actually found it. He found it. And it's funny too because our age range in this trivia group is like 3 years. So I'm the youngest and it goes to 30. So that's like kind of like the age range of the people at the trivia. And me and the one person that's 28 had never had a Walkman. And everyone else at the table had a Walkman. So those are the two things that why I'm saying this statement. You have a pop culture reference that helps you identify someone's age. So you're like, oh, where were you when this happened? Do you know this person? Jorge, fact or cap?
Fact. It's a TV show, Chespirito, El Chavo, stuff like that. I used to watch it. And you know what's funny? Like 2 days ago, I started, imitating the voice of this one character. Even Maite caught on because she sees me watch this show here and there. She's like, "Oh, that's Kiko," or whatever. I'm like, "Yeah." So, yes, there. That TV show is one of the references, especially with like my, other Mexican friends. It's a culture thing.
Sure.
With me, yeah.
Trev?
So there's two. Yes is the answer. Fact is the answer to the question. So mine is not dissimilar to Jorge's. Number one, it's literally reruns on TV where for 4 months out of the year, they would just re-rack the shows that they had run from earlier in the very same year. And if you remember watching reruns, you are of a certain age. If you got home from school and you turned on the TV and it was Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch and Bewitched, and it was just one thing, you are of a certain age. So just reruns on TV. And then there are some food items as well. Does anyone in this room know what a McDLT was? No. Right. It was a sandwich that McDonald's had for a very limited time.
In the 1930s.
Called the McDLT that came in this weird old box that was, how like the McDonald's box kind of opens and shuts like a clam?
Yeah.
Well, it was the clamshell all the way open like this and then had another open clamshell that you would snap on the top because it would keep the cool side cool and the hot side hot. And it was the McDLT that the meat and the cheese are hot, but the lettuce and the tomato, it's cool. It keeps the cool side cool and the hot side hot. It's the McDLT. It was nonsense. But if you I guarantee you there's somebody listening around and go, oh, my God, the McDLT, I haven't thought about it. And you are at least 35 or 40 years old because that was the sandwich at the time. And if you're any younger than that, you have no idea what that stupid thing is.
Al, what about you?
Fact, I think mine will fall more into music. And I know music can go all over the place. But, Jorge, you and I have similar taste in a certain era of music. It's hip-hop. Right? And I know people that like that music. Funches is the same one.
And also a certain era of hip-hop music. Yeah.
I was going to say, and Mario is another one. Like, I know, okay, we're around the same age because of that. Mm-hmm. Right? And if I, and I have a cousin of mine.
I sent you a mix the other day.
I have a cousin of mine who's like maybe...
Burn him a CD?
10. He's 10 years younger than me. And he'll like, all right, Drake is his guy. I'm like, yeah, Drake was never my guy. I didn't care. But I know that, okay.
I'm more of a Kendrick person.
He's...
By the way, which side of that beef am I supposed to be on?
Kendrick.
I would be on Kendrick all day.
Okay. I don't even know what it's about.
He's a Pulitzer Prize winning rapper, and Drake is Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I never.
What about Camila Cabello?
Not even talking about that.
Who's that now?
She yelled at me yesterday.
All right. The next thing I'm going to ask, we've been talking about it a little bit today, and with Travis, what keeps you up at night? Because Al went too late to go to like Arrowhead,
and Cody
said rice in his combo. So I'm not going to start with you on this one because I think we know your answers.
Deal.
So there is something insignificant that keeps you up at night, and again, it can't be how to pay your bills, like if your parents are healthy.
Does my wife really love me?
Right. There is something insignificant that keeps you up at night. Al, fact or cap?
I'm going to say cap, because I think the things that do keep me up, I do really feel like are important things, right? So I think the the small stuff, probably not going to keep me up. And if I ever can't fall asleep, I just watch TV and I forget about everything. So I just do that. I go Cap.
Jorge?
I guess it comes down to, like you said it earlier, and I'm just like, I don't understand why you say this. My little brother says this. Well, not a little brother anymore, 18-year-old. But every time, like, for instance, you've had your tire flat for 2 weeks.
It gets flat each
I know.
time, yeah.
I know. Okay, if you know, why not do something about it? And then Brenda's like, hey, can you do this? Yeah, I know. I'll take it. If you know, just get it done. It's I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, if you know.
All the repair places are closed, Jorge.
That they're small. It's a small thing. It's not something significant, but it's lingering.
But it's little things like that. It's like, I know. If you know, then take care of it.
I am taking care of it. I put air in the tire this morning. Travis?
Just for the record, the tire being flat is not a small thing. It's a safety issue. You should get it fixed. I feel like I need to say
it's
it
not
again.
flat right now. There's air in it right now.
My entire life is consumed by being preoccupied by the small things. It is an endless stream of, why did they give Trey Turner Steve Garvey's number? That bothered me for a few weeks.
Sure.
Like, Steve Garvey is number 6 on the Dodgers.
Right.
Steve Garvey's number should be retired by the Dodgers. Oral Hershiser's number should be retired by the Dodgers. That Russell Martin wore Oral Hershiser's number, that bothers me. Yes, I am consumed with nonsense.
The big things actually don't avoid your sleep. It's the small things.
I'm going to get a disease. Something terrible is going to happen to me. It's just life. It happens to everybody. So I can't worry about that. That's just a matter of time until it happens. But the little stupid stuff, yeah, I got plenty of time to worry about that. I still don't know why they decided to go from 1981 into 1982 in Topps baseball cards. 1981, there was one All-Star at every position in the American League, one at All-Star position in every league in the National League, and then they just started handing them out like they were candy.
Can't sleep.
It's like that bothered me.
Can't believe that.
Unbelievable.
It bothers me.
Too.
So yes,
which
I
side
have
of Twix is better, the left or the right?
No, that's
idea.
marketing. That's fake. That's not real. These things actually bother me.
I get bent out of shape, especially on Wednesday nights, when I realize we lost by one freaking point, and I could have had these answers. Anyway, so my roommate and I have had a little situation. We've seen my roommate, not I. My roommate has seen 2 cockroaches. So,
this is serious stuff right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had to stop everything I was doing.
We got it all we're getting taken care of. Exterminators coming, whatever. But when he saw them, I haven't seen them. But when he saw them, because he works from home,
they're
Big or
so
small?
gross.
So when he saw them,
Yeah.
he was like, "Do you want me to send you a picture?" I was like, "God no!
Oh no!
I want to live in blissful ignorance because I have not seen these things." Okay.
What's the difference here? Big or small is a difference. That's important.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so
keep going.
Here, but that being said, you're putting yourself in my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You have a situation happening, and you did not see it happen. You do not want to see it. Travis Fettercap.
Fact. I look, I want to be made aware that there's an issue to address the issue, but I do not need to see the issue. Right? Like, Susan will start telling me stories about work. My wife is an ICU nurse, and she'll start telling me all this stuff about, and then I'm like, don't stop telling me this stuff. Like, I'm sorry somebody had an issue that they needed to deal with, but I do not need the gory details or the gross bugs or the infestation. Oh, hey, look, they found a beehive in I don't want to see that. That just would terrify me. No. Fact.
Al?
Are you asking for your specific situation?
No, you put yourself in my shoes.
Yeah.
You want to see the picture.
Fact. I need a little more. I want to know a little more. I need more information because I'm also trying to get rid of the problem. So I would like to know. There's a difference. The difference is if it's a big cockroach versus if it's a baby cockroach. Baby cockroach means there's a lot more out there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
That's not a good thing.
That's a good point.
So I think that...
What if they just abandoned him and they all left?
Could be solo. Sometimes
it's Home Alone, but the cockroach.
Sometimes you have a wolf on his own, right? But I for something like that, I need more information because I also can't just sit back and not try to figure out what the solution is going to be. Yeah. So I want that information.
We have a solution. Exterminator is coming.
Yeah.
It's just,
you got a temporary solution. Those things never really go away for good.
Jorge?
No, I don't want to see any more proof of whatever's there. If there's something that Brenda sees, I want her to take care of it. Same thing, like I moved a little cabinet, or not a cabinet, but drawers, whatever, that have toys for my I saw a couple spiders around there. But if I bring it up to those two, they're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just take care of it, leave their peace of mind, and
You guys sound like mobsters from like just take care of it.
Yeah,
take care of it.
man.
I don't want to see anything.
Roaches or mice? If you had to have one.
Roaches.
Mice, because you can see them, man. It's more.
Yeah, but roaches,
Yeah,
that
you
is.
turn the light bulb on and they all hide.
By the way, that was.
You know what I mean?
That's an old radio segment. That was hilarious too.
What's that?
They used to do that. So we mentioned Max Marcellus a little bit earlier. They literally would go like an hour talking about roaches or ants.
Oh, ants all day long.
So that was one side. It was ants. I would be on ants all day long. Marcellus's argument was like, yeah, but when you turn on the light, the roaches go away. You don't even see them.
Yeah.
Blissful ignorance.
Ants are gross, but I'd rather.
Give me a trail of ants all the way.
100%.
Taking me to the neighbor's house. That's fine. I'll walk with them.
The ants can start picking up my food and walking it into the walls.
Do you ever do that when you were a kid? You see this trail of ants, and then you put like one stick in the middle, and you're like, all right, now what happens? And all of a sudden, they all just start coordinating. It's like a freeway. Now they're going around.
The Ipe story just got, believe it or not, weirder and kind of, frankly, more awesome. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Yo.
I was kind of just giving Slee a little glamps of glamps. What the heck is a glamps?
Glamps is it's a form of glamping.
it's the.
I'm gonna give you a glimpse of what I will talk about in this segment.
Yeah, maybe I just slipped into my southern drawl for no good reason. Glimpse is the word that I was going for at my rabbit hole. We're doomed. The general takeaway for yet another reason is that we're all doomed.
I'm gonna leave that segment.
Yeah, it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's why I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because anyway, we'll get to that coming up in a little bit.
This is the equivalent of she doesn't want the photo of the cockroaches.
Well, she's already submitted the proverbial photo in this. We all have. It's not just her. We've all done it. Apparently, a Real Housewife of Orange County husband is involved in the Ipe thing. What do we call it? Scandal? Crime? Alleged crime? Fraud. I guess he's pled guilty. Fraud. That the bookie's buddy, who happens to be the husband of a Real Housewife of Orange County, was the person that Ipe would send the stolen funds to, who would then take them to a casino in Las Vegas, convert them to chips, and then they would play with them, and they would either gamble them away or cash them out whenever they decided they had had enough. So a story that had already been so bizarre and so weird has now added a Real Housewife of Orange County component to it.
Do you ever, there was like, I don't know what it was, but like back in the day, I don't even know if it's still this, if you were going to go make a deposit, this is like from a mob movie, something like that. If you were going to go make a deposit, it would be under $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
Like you do like $9,875.66. And then the next time it's $9,400. That way it wouldn't trigger.
The bank has to report it at a certain level.
Bank has to report it, yeah, whatever it is. The total of $16,975, just under $17 million.
Maybe
I'm
that's the threshold.
Is there a trigger here? Is this like the trigger to make happen here? What do you got?
Shohei's number 17. Is there some numerology stuff going on in here that he kept it right below Shohei's 17?
Interesting.
I mean, just a hair below? I don't know.
Well, he only made 36 wire transfers, so.
Shohei's
account
have a.
Can we get a movie on this or something? When is that coming out? I need a full doc. I need you to take me from Diamond Bar when he's a high school student there. Yes. I need the whole thing.
I need Steven Yeun to play Shohei because he's a very attractive, very nice actor.
Okay.
Can he swing a bat? Because if he can't,
I'm out. Yeah, well, this one I might make an exception for. If I would have told you,
I need that doc.
When did Shohei sign with the Dodgers? Was it December, January, somewhere in there? January.
I can't remember.
January. Okay, so here we are.
I remember M texted us like 7 seconds after it happened.
Yeah, you're right. So
December 9th,
Shohei Ohtani signs with the Dodgers for $700 million. Yep. After, by the way, kind of think about this. Back it up just a little bit further. Mm-hmm. This all kind of started with a Shark Tank false alarm, right?
Yeah.
That Robert Kovacic, I think is his name, Kovacic, whatever his name is, was going to Toronto. They thought that was Ohtani's plane. It was his plane. He gets off and they're like, hey, you're the Shark Tank guy. Where's Ohtani? He's like, what? Like that's how the whole thing started.
Can the doc start there? Or does the doc start with Ohtani signing with the Dodgers? I can't, just give me something. I need to figure out what the hell's going on.
Here's what's happened. Ohtani signs a $700 million, which, as far as North American sports, the most lucrative sports deal of all time. And I just said, hey, listen, before we even get to the All-Star break of next season, there's going to be a gambling scandal involving the FBI, Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter, the Real Housewives of Orange County, a Las Vegas casino, multiple international banks. You would have said, stop. That's what's happened. It's an insane story.
Stop. We'll remake Ocean's 11.
Right. The Shark Tank, Real Housewives of Orange County, Shohei Ohtani, Ipe, Vegas casinos, FBI, Homeland Security, bank fraud. Write the script.
Adam McKay is going to be on it in a second.
It's awesome. And by the way, he was going to put together his best offensive season in history. Yeah, it seems to really bother him.
Yeah, I was going to say whatever chatter about is just affecting his play, and I think he's okay.
Yeah, it seems to have really thrown him for a loop.
16 what?
Total was $16,975,010.
Oh, well, Lindsay just sent this in to us. TV series based on Ohtani's interpreter gambling scandal is in the works with
Of course
Lionsgate.
it is. Of course it is.
But do we want it right now, or do we want it like in 5 years?
I want it now.
Yes.
No, I want it now.
I want it now. I want it 5 years from now.
Yeah.
I want it 20 years from now, and somehow I need John Travolta to be
You
involved.
can give me one in 5 years that's more updated because so much has happened, and maybe it's Ipe in a prison or something like that. But I also need
And
one
that
now.
one's going to win the Oscar.
Oh,
This
what
one's
about-
going
I
to
need
be funny.
one now.
What about when Ipe gets out? Maybe he goes on a revenge tour.
Do another one.
Who knows? There's a lot of
Do
components.
another
to
one
all
after
this.
that.
We're doing our snake draft, and Emily has the top pick. Our favorite ethnic foods. Coming up next, it's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. So, speaking of Ohtani, you know I love to play my Ohtanis on Prize Picks, right? Prize Picks is you pick between 2 and 6 players.
Yep.
You pick more or less. For instance, and by the way, Prize Picks is kind of giving you a freebie right now. Caitlin Clark's next game on Tuesday. Half a point. You think she's going to get more or less than a half a
Yeah,
point?
I think you're good.
I think you're pretty good right there. That's it. They're giving you one right there. That's Prize Picks in a nutshell. You pick more or less on between 2 and 6 players, and you can watch the money roll in. So you can win up to 100 times your money, and Prize Picks is going to match that first deposit up to $100 when you use the code ESPN710.
Okay, so you got that Caitlin Clark pick next Tuesday, but how about tonight? Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, more or less than 25 points. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland. Go find any player on the Cleveland Cavaliers and have some skin in the game for the game tonight. Something else to keep in mind. Prize Pick offers injury insurance so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured, of course, this basketball season. Download the app today. Use code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort. Now, I know you're probably spelling comfort in your head.
A Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
All right, guys, it's time for our snake draft, and our snake draft is going to be, I'm going to label it ethnic foods in terms of like foods from different areas, countries, nationalities. So like I'm going to get
Cuisines of the world.
Yes, I'm going to get food. I'm going to get X food.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. We're doing, the order is Emily, Jorge, Travis, Allen, 3 each, 12 total, because that's all that can fit on the graphic, right, Parker?
Who's that?
Parker Bell of Dodger Blue, and he only knows how to put 12 things on that graphic,
Okay.
right? Okay, great.
Introduce me to him the next time you see him. I'd like to meet him.
Will do. All right, first up is me. So I'm going to go with, if I'm going to spend a lot of money and go to a very nice place, I'm probably going to go to a place with this kind of food. It's also, I can go to a very cheap version of this kind of food. And I'm going to go and I can get my favorite cuisine that I think everyone knows that I love, that I happen to sometimes put on the floor, I'm going to go with Italian food. Italian food is my top choice. It can be lowbrow, it can be highbrow, it could be anything you want. I am never disappointed myself, personally, Emily, by Italian food.
That is a great number one draft choice. Because to your point, Em, it can be super like rustic and simple. It can be incredibly elevated and complicated. It can be fast. It hits
It can be
every
light. It can
single
be very
box.
heavy.
All of the above. All
So,
of the above.
Italian's my first choice.
Great choice.
Jorge, I think we know what your first choice can be.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Mexican. Unless you're Cody and you want to pick rice as your choice. Damn you, Cody.
Mexican rice is good. Yeah,
It's very good.
Mexican rice.
But
I'll
it
go with
comes
Mexican.
with the combo, just again.
I go with Mexican because you have variations of food, sauces. It's just, you get all kinds of, of food. So
All
many
of
choices.
these have a huge emphasis on that carb. That carb.
Yeah.
Like, all of these have a very specific carb that is so good.
Yes.
Carbs
Yes.
are what make the world go round. All right, Trav, what's your pick?
So, the reason I was asking earlier
Swedish?
about the draft
Okay,
order
I'll go now.
was I needed to know where Jorge was in this draft because I knew that you were going to take my top pick. I know, and it's my favorite, and that's where I would go
mole,
first.
there's pozole,
There's
there's
everything.
dude.
Like if you're just telling me, hey, listen, all you can have is tacos for the rest of your life. Great, because I can eat a million different
By
things.
the way, I'm making mole for dinner tonight.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
What kind?
It's just regular red mole.
Okay,
Yeah.
it sounds pretty good.
We'll be there at like 6:30.
This is kind of the classic cuisine of the world. And it can be very heavy. It can be very rich. Not unlike what Emily's talking about with Italian. It can also be very light. There is a lot of carb-based things in it, but there's seafood, which is my favorite. There's a lot of beef, which I like. There's really not a dish that exists in this cuisine that isn't like a classic that, oh, yeah, everybody knows that. I will take French to start.
Okay, well, oui.
Yes.
Au revoir.
Yes.
All right.
And now you're going to take my second pick.
Yeah, you threw me off a little bit there. Okay. All right, let's get Japanese out of the way. Japanese is going to be my top pick there. I love Japanese food, and I think it could be as simple as a teriyaki chicken rice bowl, and I'll have it every single day. Or you can get
rice one of your options.
You can get you can get sushi. You can get sashimi. I think I've told you this a couple times. Been to Japan and just
Japanese candy is really good too.
Japanese food's amazing, so it's great. And I'm a fan of all the different soups that they come with, and I'm a fan of all that. So let's go Japanese number one. Number two is actually a little different. This is a tough pick for me. It's between two.
Think about what you eat on game days.
Dang it. I'll leave that one for now.
That one's coming back around because no one else is taking it.
All right, I'm just going to take my own people off the board. Middle Eastern food. Let's go Middle Eastern food as my number two pick. Listen, this is my people too. It's a little heavier than you probably want, but it's as far as the spices go and taste goes, Middle Eastern food, my number two.
Dolma.
Pretty
Dolma
good.
Less, it's more of like the biryanis and the
What's that?
Biryani. You've heard biryani. Biryani is a rice mixed with. You can have different meats in there. It's got different vegetables in there as well. Cooked on a huge pot. A lot of it will be cooked with lamb or be cooked with some type of a meat.
What's it called?
Biryani.
Biryani?
Yeah, they do it. Indians do it as well. Indian food is. I don't know if Thai. No, Thai definitely doesn't do it. So yeah, there's mine.
All right, Trev.
Chinese.
All right, off the board.
Yep.
It was that or that.
Yeah. It's a crowd pleaser. Most people have at least a couple of things in Chinese food they like. If you're like me, there's very few Chinese dishes that you don't like.
You're not
a lot of different types of meats, a lot of different types of
authentic.
There's again, like you said earlier, you can go super carb heavy, or you can go virtually none at all.
Well, I think when we say Chinese, like this is my world growing up, it's literally the styrofoam container.
Sure.
It's got you're putting your beef and broccoli or your kung pao, pick whatever you want, and then you got your rice and your chow mein. It's like,
But you can also go to the San Gabriel Valley and have some really authentic Chinese
100%.
restaurants if you want to go for a different route. It's kind of like Italian food where you can get super authentic or you can get Olive Garden. Both satisfy everything.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. You took Chinese. I'm going to go with Thai food.
It's a good pick.
Thai food. I like the pad
Thai's
see ew,
amazing.
the pad Thai.
Thai's amazing.
Yeah. Thai food was my second choice.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm going to get my second number 2 overall off the board.
Don't
and I'm
do
really
it.
happy with this.
Don't do it.
I'm going to take Mediterranean/Greek food.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Great
so I'm gonna
choice.
I love a gyro. I love like a bowl of human chow that is kava, but I just really like the lightness I feel when I have like Greek food, Mediterranean food. I love their take on that stuff.
You know what's good about that too, Em? You can like the lightness that you're talking about. You can indulge. You can have a really significant portion of a lot of that food and still feel like, hey, I'm okay. Like if I eat my second choice, a lot of Chinese food, I just want to go to sleep. Like I just want to call it a night. But the Greek stuff is very light.
You still haven't gone. I don't think you have Papa Christos. You ever heard of Papa Christos?
That's right around the corner from where I used to live. I went there a lot.
Oh, okay. So you did go. Okay. Somebody didn't go. I know I brought it up. You've never
I've
been?
never been.
Or I didn't think you had even heard of it. Yeah, that's a great place.
Yeah. They also were the reason we had a lot of feral cats in our neighborhood because they would feed them. So the last one I'm going to pick off the board, I'm going to go with something of where I grew up, something I grew up eating, and I'm going to go Southern comfort food. So Southern comfort / soul food, fried chicken, cornbread, chili, collard greens, corn, all that good stuff.
It's good eating right there.
So Southern comfort food, like fixins downstairs, that's the key for everything. Love it. So Southern comfort food.
Good eating down there.
All right. Jorge?
Yeah.
You had a terrible pick choice, Trav. Sorry.
I like the fact that he's
French number 1 overall? Come on,
your
bro.
French was way too high. That was way too high.
I think I'm going to go Cuban on this one. La ropa vieja, arroz con pollo.
It's good.
The yuca. I got to take Cuban on this one. Yeah. Lechon. Oh, yep.
Travis, you could have. French would have
French
come back to you in
later.
the third round, bro.
It's the strategically.
You guys,
strategically.
I can't explain to you. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But that's fine.
There we go. I love this. I love that. You can't explain it to us.
We weren't going to take French.
I can't explain it to you. But you're not. You went to Arrowhead at midnight. You wouldn't understand.
I like that. We would never understand.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
I get it.
I really thought I could get Southern food on the flip. I really, truly
I'm
did.
the only one here that grew up in the South.
But I know that, but it bothers me a great deal that you took that. Like, honestly, it bothers me more than Jorge taking the Mexican food.
Fernando.
Is Spanish the same, or is I can take?
No, you can speak Spanish.
Okay,
like
I
paella
want
and
Spanish.
like from Spain.
Yeah, Spanish.
Okay, shouts out
I like
Spain.
tapas.
All right, Al, last pick.
Indian food. Let's go.
Gazpacho.
Let's call it a day. Got my 3.
Gazpacho's pretty good.
Yeah.
Got my 3 in there.
What'd you say?
Indian.
Oh, yeah.
Got my 3 in there.
I think we all ended up with the 3 that we wanted besides Travis.
I mean, yeah, I like what I got, but I wanted Southern food so bad. I thought I could get it on the flip. I really, truly did. So we're talking about little things that bother you for the rest of the day. This will bother me for weeks. It'll bother me for literally weeks. I knew that Jorge was going to take Mexican, but I thought I could get the flip.
You're speaking of Cuban food. There's this place off the 10 freeway. I don't want to mention it or whatever, but they serve you a whole lot of food, man. Like you go there and you ask them for arroz con pollo, they bring a big old plate just full of it. You can eat half, bring the rest home.
The black beans and rice you get at those places too. Forget it.
The best.
So
Forget it.
here's some things we left off. We didn't have Korean food.
Korean,
Love
yeah.
Korean food. It's great. Hawaiian food. Hawaiian food's also it's light. It's good. I thought honestly you were gonna take it because also I had just been there and you thought I might take it.
No.
But with like the poke, you like poke.
I do like poke. I had it last night.
Hawaiian barbecue.
Yeah.
That. No one took like German, Polish, like hot
The
dog,
schnitzels
sauerkraut,
and all that.
schnitzel.
Yeah.
Maybe Mace will take that.
Yeah.
But those are some big ones I think.
It's going to bother me the rest of the day. Really, truly.
No one took American food, like burgers, hot dogs. Yeah. You take it or leave it.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. And hot dogs are appetizers. We've already covered this a million times.
Sandwich?
Dodgers did it again. I'm not talking about winning another game. I'm talking about finding the right guy that anybody else could have had that the Dodgers got done. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. 13 years in a row. 13. 13 years in a row of being the dealer of the year. That's Rotolo Chevrolet. That's how you know they're doing it right. That's how you know the prices are great. That's how you know the selection is great. And that's how, more than anything, you know that the customer service is great. And that's what Mike Capozio does every single day. Mike's running the show out at Rotolo Chevrolet. Mike's making sure that everyone on his team makes sure that you understand that you're the most important person that comes on that lot, because to them, that is exactly what you are. That's why they're as courteous as they are, as transparent as they are, up front. The entire process, from financing to your purchase, everything about it, you're like, yeah, that makes sense to me. That's a great deal. You're going to feel good. You're going to tell your friends, and they're going to tell all theirs. And that's when they get dealer number year 14. Rotolo Chevy, right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. You absolutely cannot miss it. It is a sea of Silverados. And if you're thinking, ooh, Fontana's a little far for me, go online, rotolochevy.com, ROTOLO, rotolochevy.com. And when you go, tell them that Travis sent you.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason.
All right, as promised, we'll talk a little Rams football right now. Steve Avila joining us right now. Rams' new center. Last year, their left guard played in every single play of every single game. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Steve, thanks for coming on. How you been?
Hey, thanks for having me.
So let's start right there. I know you and I got a chance to talk about this a couple of weeks ago at that Rams party, but what did it mean to you to not just have a successful rookie season, not just to be able to play in every game, but to literally play every snap of the entire season?
Oh, it means a lot, man. There's a lot of expectations going into the year last year, and I had a lot of goals set for myself. And, one of those was, to be the best I could be. And a lot of what comes with that was, playing every single snap and try to do it at a high level. So I'm just glad that, I was able to, meet my expectations.
Steve, with all, obviously you got to put in all the work. You got to make sure your body is feeling a certain way. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, rest, all that stuff. How much of that is just being really fortunate that you were able to stay healthy for 18 games, including the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, we have a good, athletic training staff. They got me right the whole season. A lot of nutrition, helped me out and, really just toughened things out, man. It's a long season, longer than college. And, I'm just fortunate enough to, not have any, serious issues, knock on wood. Hopefully we can do a repeat next year.
How excited are you? And I think just coming off the momentum the Rams had last season, how excited just the upcoming year? We saw, and I'm sure you guys aren't looking at power rankings and things along those lines, but a lot of people feel really good about the Rams situation coming into this season. Obviously, some great games on the schedule. We'll find out on Wednesday when those are going to be slated. Can you talk about the upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. It's year 2 for me, so no longer a rookie, but I'm really excited for this next upcoming draft class. I feel like we cemented a really good culture on implementing a lot of the young guys, and, we don't plan on stopping there. So, I mean, the best that, I can do as a year 2 guy is bring those guys along. But I'm really excited. It's going to be really fun.
Steve Avila joining us here on Trav and Slee. Coming up on May 11th is Walk United LA at SoFi Stadium, where Steve will be one of the honorary chairpeople of that event. We'll talk about that coming up in just one sec. What about the position change, Steve, going from guard to center? Obviously, you've played both in your career. You spent all last season at guard, and now you're in the middle of the line. What's that all about?
Oh, man, it was really exciting. I mean, when I found out it was happening, it just told me, how much trust that the team had in me. I was fortunate and blessed enough to have a lot of teammates that helped me out throughout the season and get me right with, looking at defenses and with technique and all this stuff. So all that stuff comes together when making that transition right now, and, I'm really excited for it.
I know this is, obviously a big deal, and this is a great event that we got coming up. Can you talk a little bit about your partnership and a part of the Walk United LA? It's going to be at SoFi Stadium. I know you guys are hoping to get 10,000 Angelinos to join you and a whole crew there. Can you talk a little bit about the event and just how special that day is going to be?
Yeah, it's a family-friendly 5K walk on Saturday. It's going to be at SoFi, and we're, there to raise funds and awareness, to combat homelessness here in Los Angeles. I feel like it's very prevalent, in the Los Angeles community, and, we want to show our support so we can raise some funds for homelessness.
Steve Avila joining us here on Trav and Sleeve. So we had earlier this week, Kyron Williams came on, and I asked him something that we should ask you, and this is what he had to say about that.
I guess ask him to repeat a cadence. Ask him to give you a cadence on one. Tell him give you a cadence on one to see what happens. Because, he's switching over to center this year, and there's a lot more responsibility as a center than, is a right guard. And so, he's stepping up to the plate, though. He's doing great. He's making the right calls. He's doing everything he's, in his power to, be the best center he can be. And so, I'm excited for him. But, just messing with that might just, he might laugh a little bit when you ask him that.
All right, so you're on the spot, Steve. Well, give me a cadence on one.
A cadence on one? Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Set hut. Blue 80. Blue 80, set hut.
It's pretty good.
Do you work on that? Like you look in the mirror, you get up in the morning, you start going through it, or is it just?
Hey, that's how much we practice, man. It's in my blood now, man. I know how things go.
Sounds like you're in a regular season game in November. You're ready to go.
I just jumped offside, by the way. Just so
put me back there at quarterback, huh?
So take me through the relationship with Matthew Stafford. Obviously, you guys were teammates last year, but now the relationship's different. You're handing him the ball every single play. Do you have to work on that? Do you have to work on understanding his cadence? Have you heard it long enough? Like, I would imagine there are some challenges by all of a sudden just the exchange that you're going to have to do 60, 70, 80 times a game.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this is what this time is for, just to get familiarized with everything. But, luckily, again, like I've played every single snap last year, so I know a lot of, what his cadence sounds like and, where the ball is supposed to be. A lot of what I'm working on now is, snapping the ball, because I want to get that perfect so he can be able to get the ball to the receiver. So I don't want that to be a problem. Not that it is, but I just want to be the best I can be, because at the end of the day, we're trying to keep him upright.
Steve, we saw Rams community had posted an event that you're going to be a part of. So an offensive line position camp that's going on May 24th. I know this is more specific to you, but can you talk a little bit about what that's all about and your goal there, helping out some of these high school athletes?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like all throughout my football career, I've always been one with, sharing knowledge. And it's going to be a fun little event. We're going to have a lot of drills there. And that's really, I guess, a part of who I am, sharing knowledge to a lot of these high school kids. Something that I wish, I had, back in high school. So it's going to be fun.
Rams Center Steve Avila joining us here on Trav and Slee. So we just did a draft a second ago, Steve, where we were picking our favorite different types of like ethnic cuisine, and Mexican food comes off the board, Indian food, Chinese food. What's at the top of the list? If you had the first pick, what are you taking first?
Oh man, I've had a lot of different food. Come on, like I'm an offensive lineman, but I would be wrong if I didn't put Hispanic food up there. It is just so diverse. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there's just so many good vegetables that goes into every single meal. So that would probably be number one.
Okay, so I'm gonna Jorge, get ready for this. So our one of our producers, Jorge Briones, we have this long-standing argument where he ranks carne asada as the 6th best taco filling. Is he out of his?
Oh, wow.
It seems insane to me.
That is wild.
Okay, when you get tacos,
when you
can get asada
street
anywhere.
Tacos, you think of that. That's wild.
Yeah, what I think he's saying is that's like that's the basic. I think is that.
Yeah, it's very basic. You can get it anywhere, and it's a hit or miss. It depends on how long
like,
it's been there.
Hey, pepperoni pizza is basic. Would you put that at number 6 for pizza?
Yeah, why not?
Well, carne asada is much higher on our list.
Yeah,
so
it's much higher than ours. Walk United LA 2024. It is happening this weekend at SoFi Stadium. For more information, you can go to unitedwayla.org/Walk United LA 2024. Obviously, a little bit of a different offensive line this year. You're obviously changing positions. Jonah Jackson comes in from the Detroit Lions along the way. Do like the 5 of you guys hang out all the time? Do you go to the movies together? Do you go out to dinner just to kind of work as a unit? Or is it all the Bill Belichick, just do your job and everything else falls in place?
No, I mean, I feel like to have a good offensive line, you all have to have a great relationship. And I feel like that's what we have. We had that last year. Excuse me, sorry. We had that last year. And, we're getting, into OTAs. Actually, Big Jonah just got a house with a pool, so we'll be hanging around there soon. So there'll be a lot more activities we'll be doing together.
Is it just an O-line hang, or can Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Puka show up if they want?
Oh, they're more than welcome. Usually when we do stuff, the tight ends join us because they're honorary offensive linemen.
So you should get a taco guy and make sure there's plenty of carne asada and don't invite Jorge.
There we go, for sure.
Steve Avila, the Rams Center. Appreciate your time very much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. That's awesome. See? We got another vote on our side, Jorge.
It's okay. Have all the carne asada.
I don't think Jorge's worried. Jorge's like, all right, you guys can have it.
You guys are cool.
You guys can have it.
Sure. The more for you guys.
Bring me some of that mole tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make plenty.
All right, yeah. When you say you make plenty, so you have 4 people in your family.
Correct, but,
right? Obviously, Gael's not, I don't think, is taking down the mole yet. Might eat it?
She's starting to try different things.
Okay.
Like we're trying to get her out of her, normal stuff. So she'll have
You make enough for 10 people, 20,
No,
5?
we'll make enough for maybe 6.
Okay.
6 people.
Put me in the head count.
Yeah, for sure.
Put me in the head count
we'll
for
make
sure.
8.
There you go. Rabbit Hole's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
$710 ESPN.
The red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Nothing can possibly go wrong. And also, I finally get the beginning of that rejoin, even though I made it.
There you go.
So now I know what the red pill and the blue pill mean. All right, so rabbit hole is whatever has been occupying our fancies, maybe keeping us up at night over the past couple days on the internet. So, Al, why don't you start us off?
All right, so I'll use one as an example. This dude, hilarious guy, African-American guy, and he was walking through, like, all the different ways African-Americans, after a meal or during a meal, okay? So he's like, you got the guy that wants to eat by himself, and he's, at a park bench. It's like outdoor, right? And he's like, no, I'm good, guys. Let me just finish eating. I'll get back to you guys.
The cookout.
The guy that comes in where he doesn't have a plate, he's always holding the food, like having a whatever it is, whatever item of food, eating it while he's talking to everybody else. Like, why don't you just grab a plate? And he just keeps going back and forth. Like, all the different versions of, and I think they do this with all the ethnicities, but this specific guy is obviously just doing African Americans. The guy that won't stop talking while you're eating, like just every possible way of doing it.
Is there a Middle Eastern version of this in terms of, like, if you had to do your version of this, is there different people in the Middle Eastern family of, like, when you have people over,
I think
this person.
I think it's actually very similar in all cultures. It's who the person is. Like, one person's like, if I'm eating, I just want to eat. I don't need to talk to anybody right now. You have another person, like, I'll use my mom as an example. My mom doesn't eat when we eat. She's like making sure everybody else is good. I'm like, grab a plate. She doesn't eat.
It's funny you say that. Yeah. So my grandmother on my dad's side, my dad is one of 5 kids, and he said when he was growing up, she would make sure that the 5 kids and my grandfather, that everybody was constantly taking care of everybody else, and she would never sit down to eat until everybody else was basically done with their meal.
It's actually kind of funny when you say it when you go family. My brother-in-law, they're both so different. One is eating like takes his time. He's chewing his food properly. He's cutting his food and then my other brother-in-law and me, we're like animals out there. We're just eating so fast, right? All right, just how much can we put in? And my other brother-in-law, it's like salad first. It's like, how the hell do you have that much patience?
Trav, what's yours?
So I think I've mentioned this before.
Oh, wait, I have to leave.
Yeah. Lindsay, the producer Lindsay, and I share an affection for true crime podcasts.
Were you already listening to them, or she kind of?
No, we realized we both listened to them. She probably consumes more of them than I do, and she's given me some really great recommendations. I did find this one on my own. It's called Bear Brook, if you're interested in checking it out. But it's a true crime podcast that was about the back in the mid 80s. These 4 people were found murdered in the woods. A young woman, maybe in her late 20s, and 3 little girls, like 8, 4, and 2. And they couldn't identify the bodies for 50 years. They had no idea who these people were. They had no suspects. No one had ever said, hey, I'm missing my sister, my wife, my granddaughter. Like, just poof, gone. No, just disappeared. No one ever said, I'm looking. They could never identify these bodies. Well, fast forward to relatively modern times, I think it was in the early 2020s, they were able to identify these bodies basically through DNA communities. 23andMe, Ancestry.com, all this stuff.
That's why I never put my stuff in there.
Well, they've got it anyway. I got bad news for you. But it was all about, like, crime solving through genealogy, and I started going through all these different things, and all the Golden State Killer that was on the loose for 4, they caught him this way. Like, it was so fascinating to me that they're able to find some distant 12th cousin and trace these family trees back to, bam, it's that guy. And it's just fascinating to me.
It's also so weird why people ever did that in the first place, to do that whole genealogy thing. I just feel like you're putting your DNA and giving it to a company.
Well, here's the problem. I feel the same way you do, but you don't have to give yours. I don't have to give mine. If my 12th cousin has it, they can get to you eventually. And that's what's so terrifying about the whole thing, because if you have even one person in your, and by the way, like once you get to 5th cousins, we all have thousands of them, right? We all do. So if any of the people in that chain are in, we're all cooked. So that was my rabbit hole, and it's deeply, because at this point, it's like, I know my phone's listening. I know that if you have one of those virtual assistants in the house, I know that my laptop's lit. At this point, I've just given up. You have my DNA, you have my fingerprints, you have everything you're ever going to need. You know every website I've ever looked at, every person I've ever talked to. What are you going to do?
My friend, Rachel, she found out her dad wasn't her real dad through 23,
Yes.
like one of these things.
Yes.
And then she connected with her, I think her dad had passed away, her biological dad.
Yeah.
So she has become friends with that family now since, and she like goes to meet them, and she's like, oh my God, you're the same as me. And so she's realizing this whole different part of her life, recontextualizing her life. She actually, I think, is trying to option it for like television or a movie.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But yeah, crazy.
They can find people.
Jorge?
Okay, so I sent this to Alan, when was it? Yesterday, today's a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It's a guy who, you guys, I told you I have a thing for chocolate. I eat chocolate every day. So I found this
One
guy
of your essentials.
who makes the Colosseum, the Roman Colosseum, out of chocolate.
Let's go.
He just breaks piece after piece. At the same time, he's eating his pieces. He takes caramel and he starts gluing, all the pieces together. And then eventually he ends up with the Colosseum. Just the
Bro,
whole,
it's incredible
it's crazy.
how he gets there.
Yeah.
Like you would think, like,
All the
is it?
detail?
No, just the
details,
detail
the
of it.
windows, the hallways.
It's incredible
everything.
how he does it.
Yeah, so I went down that, and then that.
Jorge wouldn't be able to do it because he'd eat
You'd eat all
of
the
construction.
Lions and the Christians that they used to have in there too.
and then that took me down to something called How America Was Built, based on food. Oh, the food that built America.
I've seen that.
Dude, I came across the
I've seen
episode
that.
of Hershey's, and then
Yep.
how Reese's
Yep.
was in his backyard,
Yep.
and eventually created his own brand
Yep.
in his backyard. It was just crazy nice. I just went down this chocolate.
You see the one about the Kellogg's family?
Yeah, in Post.
Yeah, pretty
man.
interesting.
The Domino's and Pizza Hut was
Yeah,
pretty good too.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so my rabbit hole has to do with, it kind of got me started because yesterday a poster for the new movie Twisters, which is like, it's not necessarily like I don't think it's like a sequel to Twister, but it's like it's just basically they're following storm chasers and kind of similar dynamics. Pretty girl, pretty beautiful guy, have to go chase the storm, whatever. So kind of romance involved in it. But the poster is the three main characters of this movie. They are facing kind of I'll also say north. They're facing north, and they're like looking up at the sky, like what's gonna happen? South behind them in the photo is the tornado. It's like, guys, you know it's behind you, right?
Maybe
the
there's
poster,
two.
the poster's just like constructed weird to me, and then it's getting roasted online because like we know the Twister's behind them. So it got me on, not just like the worst posters of all time because there's some terrible movie posters out there, but movie posters that gave away the ending, that kind of spoiled the movie. So here are some that like you might recognize, and I'll try to describe the poster. So Shawshank Redemption's poster, and it's Andy Dufresne shirt off in the rain. You can't tell it's Andy Dufresne; it's his back, but it's shirt off in the rain. It's the end of the movie.
Couldn't he have been in the yard, in the prison yard, in the rain?
Yes, but once you know the movie, it does spoil it. So obviously, going into it, you don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but you're kind of waiting for whatever that scene was to happen, and so it happens at the end of the movie, kind of like when you gave away Better Call Saul to Al. Like I'm waiting for this scene to happen, and it's not happening. Second one. The Grease poster. It's Grease, and it's Andy. It's not Danny. Danny and what's it?
Sandy.
Danny and Sandy, and she's all dolled up, and she's in her like greasified outfit. Spoiler. That's the end of the movie. That's what your payoff is.
Okay.
That Sandy turns into that.
I haven't seen Grease in a long time. Doesn't the car like fly into the clouds?
Yeah,
at the end?
yeah.
I'm going down a rabbit hole right now, finding worse movie posters.
I have two more, and if you find more, you can do more. So next one, Carrie. Okay, the movie Carrie, Stephen King Carrie, is Who Wants to Take Carrie to the Prom, and it's a side-by-side photo of Carrie in her beautiful prom dress and Carrie covered in blood. You're giving away that she has something happens to Carrie. Like I don't know. I just
They weren't
feel
very
like,
nice to her.
Exactly.
Neither was her mother.
Yeah, and also what's funny is my mother is named Carrie.
Oh.
Her mother is a librarian. Saw that there was a book called Carrie. And was like, oh, Carrie, you should read this book. And it was literally the year my mom was going to go to prom when this book came out. Anyway.
So she looked up for buckets.
Basically. Basically the joke was like, who wants to take Carrie Johnson to the prom? Last one. The poster for Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes. You know, at the end of the movie, again, spoiler alert for a 80-year-old movie, he's kneeling in the sand, and he's like, why you? What was it?
Damn dirty apes.
You damn dirty apes. And it's the Statue of Liberty. You realize that this planet that he's on is not some faraway planet that he got into. It's the planet, it's Earth. And so the Planet of the Apes poster has an ape on it and a freaking Statue of Liberty. That's the big reveal at the end. So that's my rabbit hole that I got down.
It's good. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you have any explanation for why Danny and Sandra D were in a flying car through the clouds at the end of that? Because the movie
camp. It's they're going to heaven or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. The funniest scene in that whole movie is when John Travolta's trying to play softball or baseball, whatever it is, and he calls the umpire a name and then snaps his mask into his face.
That whole movie, with a 2024 lens, it's not a great movie. Of
course,
but yeah, all the pink ladies look like they're 80 years old.
Well, what's the woman's name who played Rizzo? She's very famous. Stockard Channing. I think she was in her 30s.
Beauty School Dropout.
Yeah. It's an interesting film. The Dump coming up next. A little Supercross talk as well. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
On to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
So this is a good example, Em, of one of those cultural touchstones that if you know, you know, and you're of a certain age. It was today in 1980, May 9th, 1980, that the original Friday the 13th was released, and Jason with the hockey mask.
Also, not on the 13th, which is
No, I guess not.
strange.
Yeah. I mean,
Missed an opportunity.
you're right. But how much? Friday the 13th comes around once or twice a year.
Sure,
maybe.
but still, put it out on the 13th. Even
If it's
not
done,
Friday.
it's done. Put it out there. But this is one of those, like now, the serial killer with the mask, like ubiquitous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the first thing. Hockey mask, kids in the woods, at the lake.
Yep.
You know, anybody that's about to have sex, well, you're about to get murdered. Like that's just, that was kind of the beginning of,
And
at
then
least in my life.
It turned into the meta version, which is Scream in 1996, where they kind of point out all the tropes. Like we all knew the tropes, but it's like, oh yeah, you can't have sex. Oh, you're on the phone. The killer's in the house. All that stuff. And then that Scream mask was what they found it in like a Party City thing, and now that's become the most famous
Is
mask.
Scream considered like one of the? Is it a legendary horror movie or no?
It is a legendary movie, and it's a legendary horror movie because it shifted. Horror movies were only sequels at that point in time, and they were bad sequels, and they were kind of just retreading the same track. So Scream,
I thought Scream was great. I just didn't know if it's like.
So it was the first one that was self-aware too.
Yeah. I was going to get into like the historical context. Yeah, it was a meta first edition of the meta version, and they had a fantastic. Speaking of posters that were giving away. It had a fantastic poster because people get into that movie thinking it's a Drew Barrymore movie.
Right.
People in
She's
1996
out in freaking
in 10
5
minutes.
minutes.
The opening
10
scene.
minutes.
One of the best opening scenes I think I've ever seen.
It was shocking.
Again, if you polled people going in 1996 to go to see Scream, you're like, oh, I'm so excited. They could interview. I'm so excited to see Drew Barrymore. She's one of my favorite actresses. I love seeing her all these things.
Well, you saw her.
And then you're shocked. And you know that everybody's on the table the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I'm just as
Yeah, that's a good
surprised.
way to put it.
With this movie, like my buddy used to host movie nights at this one brewery in San Dimas, and all these people would show up with skirts of the mask, T-shirts. It was insane. Like walking into a brewery and then everybody's watching this film.
You don't know who the killer is because you know the killer is one of the
Right.
people that you see a lot,
Yep.
and so that's something too.
The other trope that was early that you don't want to be the black guy in that movie.
Also true.
He's going out early, right?
Yeah.
That's one of those.
Matthew Lillard was like put on the scene in that movie too,
Yep.
and he was iconic in that. But yeah, Nev Campbell.
I was going to say we're not going to get this far into the conversation about Scream and not talk about Nev Campbell, right?
Yeah, of
I mean
course.
that's necessary.
Shouts out.
Was that was post Party of Five?
I could not tell you.
Yeah, I think it was.
And okay, so honestly, Scream has to me stayed to be a good franchise. Like even Scream 6. I'm not saying I wanted to win Oscars, but I really enjoyed going to movie and seeing Scream 6. I think they were still inventing.
I knew there
had
was
no idea there was
more. I didn't know that we've gotten to 6.
If she said Scream 3 just came out, I'd be like, oh, you know about it.
Yeah, one was enough.
But if it's still doing well,
yeah, one Scream is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I liked it.
But this Scream is not in California. It was in New York, and it
New
still
York.
has Courtney Cox.
I
still
like
in it?
Courtney
There
Cox.
you go.
She's great. But I just, one's enough.
And Arquette.
I also was the guy with the knives hand, Freddy Krueger,
Freddy. Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Another fantastic
Pasadena.
one. That's right. That's right. Today is National Sleepover Day. I think we've talked about this before. I loved doing a sleepover. I never liked as a parent hosting the sleepover. As a kid, hey, Matt wants to invite you over to his house. Let's go. Let's get it done. But now when Bobby or Mike like, hey, can I? Fine. And we did say yes, but man,
Were
hated
you
it.
the sleepover house in high school? Or
When I
middle
was a
school?
kid?
Yeah. Like, did they come to your house? or did you go to
50-50. We
theirs?
both.
Al?
my mom thought I was going to a different country if I asked to sleep over at a friend's house. Like, I didn't know if this was a Sliwa thing or a Middle Eastern thing, but going over to stay at somebody's house that's not your cousin, they didn't like compute that. They didn't understand what the hell you.
Did you never do it?
I did it. I had one buddy of mine that literally lived down the street, across the street, and maybe 3 houses over. But going to stay, and she eventually let me stay there, but going to stay there was as if she said, hey, it's okay, you can go to Moscow. I'm like, I'm just down the street.
Do you know what she was worried about?
I think they just weren't comfortable with, and even though
Like
she
imposing?
knew the parents and everything else, I think there was a little bit of, I don't think they're comfortable with their kid not staying in their home, number one. And number two, I think there was a little bit of like, why are you going to somebody else's house? Like, let that family just be its family.
Because it's fun.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I mean, we're on the same
They
page,
might have
but-
different video games than you have. They might have different food than you have. They might say, whatever you want. Have the whole thing of ice cream.
Maybe that's why I'd come back and I'd be like, do you know what they have in their pantry? Because we don't have any of this stuff in our pantry.
They're going to show you things.
Were you a sleepover guy, Jorge?
I was the guy sleeping over, but my mom would be like, yeah, nobody can stay here kind of thing.
Susan would host a sleepover every weekend if it were up to her. Yeah, invite him over. Yeah, he asked about 9 people. Yeah, so? Like, I really don't want to wake up in the morning with 9 people
what? We should
sleeping
go
on
get
my
an
couches.
Airbnb.
Kelly had a volleyball tournament 2 months ago. They're in college. They're all 22 years old. I get up in the morning, I'm like, why is both the men's and women's club volleyball team sleeping on my floor? I don't have any money. Like, not my problem. They're adults. Figure it out.
Yeah, you're 22. That's a little bit different.
One of the keys why so my family we had occasionally sleepovers at our house, but typically we would be people that would go to other people's houses because we didn't have a finished basement. And most of the time, the sleepovers would be held in the finished basement, and that's where like the TV was, that's where the video games were, that's where the extra couches was, sometimes an extra room. And I also used to always love having like a big group sleepover, like 6 or 7 girls.
Oh, like
because
a
you always
slumber party.
Yeah, slumber party. Because then you do each other's makeup, you paint each other's nails, you do pranks on each other, you watch Legally Blonde the musical over and over again, or whatever sleepover movie we wanted. So,
prank calling, man. At a
sleepover. Yeah.
Calling.
Oh, is crank calling
With
a girl
landlines.
thing too?
Yeah, we would prank call,
okay.
and then we'd also obviously prank the first person that fell asleep.
Oh,
so if
yeah.
the first person to fall asleep, you get like marker on your face or whatever.
All right, so this is more of a movie question, I think, than anything else. So Sydney Sweeney, the actress, is set to play former boxer Christy Martin in a movie. John, do you remember Christy Martin, the fighter?
Yeah, we had her on the show.
Okay. Sydney Sweeney is Christy Martin. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
How come?
I like Sydney Sweeney.
I do too. Sydney Sweeney and Christy Martin do not look alike at all.
Not yet.
No,
Remember what I was talking about yesterday? How Ed O'Neill from Modern Family looks exactly like Donald Sterling now?
I'm with you. But even without the makeup and the liver spots on his hands.
Have you ever seen Sydney Sweeney with dark hair?
Emily showed me yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But in my mind's eye, I've got Sydney Sweeney. In my mind's eye, I've got Christy Martin. Those are very different looking people. I need the actor playing the famous person to have a passing resemblance to the person.
I don't think you do. Taron Egerton looked nothing like Elton John before Rocket Man. And by the end of it, when they got into the makeup and they got into the...
I don't know who Taron Egerton is, so I would buy it.
You didn't see Kingsman?
No.
You never saw Kingsman with Samuel L. Jackson?
I don't even know what that is.
It's good. Emily, you've seen it, right? You've never seen Kingsman?
What is it?
I don't think I have either.
There are 3 of them.
Detectives kind of, right? Aren't they?
I don't think I have either.
Oh, my gosh. They're like James Bond dudes.
Oh.
And so here's the 30-second elevator pitch. There is a society of gentlemen in England that are all spies, and they work out of a haberdashery. So
I've seen one of those.
And
I didn't know that's what it's
Samuel
called.
L. Jackson comes up with a plan to take over the world by putting a cell phone in everybody's hand that is owned by his company, and when he does, he brainwashes them.
Okay.
And the Kingsmen have to take him down. And Taron Egerton is being trained. You got to, Trav, you're going to love this movie. You got to watch it.
I'll give it a shot.
It gets progressively worse. The second one's not as good as the first one. I think there's a third one.
That's kind of the standard.
But the first one, it's directed by a guy named Mace will know this. It's directed by a guy named Matthew Vaughn. These guys have never seen or heard of the Kingsman movies.
No, it's a really fun. It's not the greatest movie. It's fun and entertaining.
So the reason we're on this is
I heard Slee. The mention of Sydney Sweeney came up, and all I heard was Slee go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah."
Well, that
okay, but you know that
right.
Sydney, before she was kind of a Marilyn Monroe bombshell, she actually was in Emily. Wasn't she in *Handmaid's Tale*?
No, Euphoria.
No, that's someone else. I think. Well, actually, she might have been in *Handmaid's Tale*.
And then she was on *Euphoria*.
She was in *Once Upon a Time in Hollywood*.
And what's she playing *Once Upon a Time in Hollywood*?
She was one of the people at that at the
Manson
ranch
camp.
with
the Manson
with
camp.
Bruce Dern.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Because we got on this because Sydney Sweeney is going to play. Remember the boxer Christy Martin?
Oh yeah, sure.
So they're making a movie about Christy Martin, and Sydney Sweeney is going to play Christy Martin.
Okay.
And I like the actor that's going to play. If I know the actor, I need it to look, for instance, this is, I think, maybe the best example of casting, just like, oh, he looks just like him. When Val Kilmer played Jim Morrison in the Doors movie.
Right.
They look a lot
They do look
alike.
a lot alike.
They
You're
look
right.
a lot alike. So I'm very easily able to kind of suspend disbelief in that.
All right.
Sydney Sweeney and Christy Martin
But
do not
Trev,
look
I
a lot
cannot
alike.
tell you how many times in Hollywood
they'll make it
they
happen.
make it
Yeah,
look
they'll
like.
make
Like
it
I'll give
happen.
you a couple of examples. If you stood Megyn Kelly next to Charlize Theron, they
unreal.
don't look alike. All right. But when Charlize Theron got in the makeup chair, they made her look exactly like me. I'm a big Sinatra fan. And they did a Rat Pack movie with Ray Liotta as Sinatra. Looks nothing like him. He kind of killed it.
Are you, by the way, speaking of Sinatra, that, Emily, I don't know if this is official, you may know or not, DiCaprio, Scorsese, and somebody else, they're going to make a Sinatra movie.
Oh, really?
And DiCaprio as Sinatra.
I think it's in the works.
It's in the works.
DiCaprio as Sinatra?
Yes.
Wow.
And
by the way, DiCaprio is a Sinatra guy. He bought one of Sinatra's old houses in Palm
well,
Springs.
you know who is the ultimate Sinatra guy is who's the guy that that invented Family Guy?
Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, yeah, Seth
he's
MacFarlane.
Like a Sinatra.
Right,
nut.
he's
And
a
he can- and
he's
he
a
can
crooner.
But he can really genuinely sing.
can definitely
Does Leo
sing.
need to be able to sing to pull it off, or can they dub it?
What they did when they did the Sinatra miniseries, they had an actor named Philip Kasnoff who played Sinatra. He was really good. And Marcia Gay Harden played Ava Gardner. She was really good. They had Frank Sinatra Jr. sing the songs, and the actor just lip synced.
See, I like it better when the actor actually does sing. Like, for example, the Marley guy, the guy...
he was great.
Kingsley Benadere.
Kingsley
He was
Benadere.
great. He was really good.
Did the actual, Marley vocals.
I
So
actually don't mind it when they get somebody that sounds more like the singer. I'll give you two examples. For example, in Bohemian Rhapsody, Rami Malek did not sing.
Right.
He lip synced, and they got somebody who sounded like Freddie Mercury.
Well, Freddie
to
Mercury's
sing.
such a specific sound,
But
too.
in Rocket Man, Taron Egerton sang everything.
Yeah.
And he doesn't sound like Elton John, but because he's a good actor, he kind of pulled it off.
This is you need a baseball. You need somebody playing.
Doesn't
a
have to be
baseball
perfect,
role
but it
to
can't,
throw
it
a
can't look like they
baseball.
handed you a baseball bat for the first time
Yeah.
the day before they start shooting.
Emily, did Austin Butler sing as Elvis, or did they dub?
He did sing as Elvis. So here's a movie that's coming out this year, just this month.
Oh, I know which one.
The
Yeah.
Amy
The Amy Winehouse
Back
movie
to
looks
Black.
great.
It does not look great.
It looks great.
It looks
What are
terrible.
you talking about?
And her voice singing as Amy is
Well, all I've
it's
seen is
bad.
one trailer.
It looks.
Have you seen more of this movie than I have?
I've seen more trailers. I've seen reviews. It is getting.
Can I make a case for you, Mace?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the trailer. I have no dog in this fight. The list of things she doesn't like is not short.
That is true.
Right.
Em has
Most
a
of the things that you
long-
like is very long.
Yeah, no, she's very discerning.
Yes.
Yeah, but we all make our own decisions. I'll be at the Amy Winehouse movie.
She'll see it.
I want to put up one more person who could play Sinatra, a young Sinatra, in a movie that we just saw. It's in Challengers. Mike Feist. One, he is a Broadway actor. He can sing. He was in Dear Evan Hansen. He was in Newsies.
Right.
He was in something else too. He looks like young Sinatra. His young Sinatra mugshot. That's Mike Feist, and he's the guy in Challengers.
Oh, you're
He's the
right.
skinny guy
It
in
is the
Challengers.
Frank Sinatra mugshot. He does look exactly like that. Yeah.
Did you guys have sleepovers as kids?
Sure.
Yeah. Were you the host or were you the attendee?
Both.
Yeah,
that's kind of where
I
we
did both.
landed
Yeah.
too.
I think white people sleepovers all day. Middle Eastern, it was like I need to know the social security number. I need to.
It
know
was that
everything.
strict, huh?
Yeah, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Well, it's different food. There was different TV rules. There was, and even
You got
like
to stay up late.
You get to stay up late, and even if you had the people over, like your mom and dad, at least my mom and dad they'd have a little more relaxed vibe going on. You could do things that you might not be able to do if you were there by yourself.
Sure.
You know what we should do right now?
What?
Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
I heard heard your snake draft. Now, I heard Emily got I had the same first pick, obviously, Italian.
Okay, good. It's a solid pick.
Now, what I thought was it came back around and Chinese was still on the board.
Chinese still on the board.
Nobody took Chinese?
No.
You took Chinese.
He took Chinese. I could have taken Chinese. I had the 4th pick. 4th and 5th did not go Chinese.
Did not go. So I heard you go Japanese.
Japanese and Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern,
and
obviously.
then right back.
Yeah.
Right
and
back.
then who got Chinese?
I did.
Oh, nice.
So Emily's list, I think Emily wins. She had the Italian food cuisine.
Yep.
She had Greek and Southern
Greek.
comfort food.
Oh my gosh, nobody's beating that.
No, she wins. She wins. Jorge had Mexican, Thai, and Cuban.
That's a great list, too.
That's good. Mine is French, Chinese, and Spanish.
Spanish, a little paella.
A little paella, a little tapas.
Yes.
Who doesn't like that? And the sleeves, Japanese, Middle Eastern, and Indian. Emily wins in a walk, right?
Yeah, Emily's got that locked in.
Your Italian first pick overall?
Italian first pick always.
John?
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah, matter of fact, Emily's picks might be my first 3. I'd put Southern Comfort ahead of Greek food, but they would be in that order.
I had Greek food last night.
What'd you get?
I had the...
Spanakopita.
No, I did not. We had the Saganaki,
okay,
which is the flaming cheese where they put the alcohol on the cheese and then they light it up and everybody yells, Opa! It was very...
It was a
big showstopper.
There's not enough Greek restaurants.
No.
At least that I know. I don't
There's a
feel
good one in
like
Manhattan
there's
Beach.
enough.
So Ireland...
Is that the one that Petros' family owned?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
no,
that's
they
right.
still do.
That's
right.
Oh,
do
no,
they
no,
still
no.
own it?
No, it's called Petros, but it's
Okay.
owned by Petros Papadakis owned a
down in
San Pedro,
Taverna
right?
in San Pedro.
Yeah.
No, they don't own it anymore.
Didn't we do an event?
Neil Everett owns the one we went to last night. I bumped into Neil. He's doing great. He's doing Portland Trailblazers games, pre, post, or whatever, halftime, and then he's living in L.A. the rest of the time.
Yeah.
It's a good gig.
That is a
It's not
good
bad.
gig.
Yeah.
Neil acted retired when he wasn't retired. I think he's like
He's
he's one of the most laid back guys I've
He
ever
seems
met.
so because he's from Hawaii, and I think that carries
He is
over.
from Hawaii. So, okay, let's assume that you've checked the financial box. You're good.
Okay.
You don't need to make any more money to leave for family members. You're good.
Right.
You've checked the economics box.
So they both checked the boxes already.
Yes.
Okay.
How long do you work?
Well, we're very different on this.
Yeah.
I'm desperate to get out and not work. Mace says you'll have to pry the microphone from his cold, dead fingers.
You get to do the Lakers as long as you'd like.
Okay.
There's an expiration date on that for you?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so either, Mace.
No. Oh, there is. But I'll never. They'll fire me before I get to that date.
Okay, but
Well, that's
John,
true for
John,
all
you
of us
take
for
me
almost
as-
everything.
You take
Yeah.
me as somebody that just loves working too.
Right, but my problem
What
is
would you do?
I've never had one job since I was 25. Now I'm 60. So I've worked 2 lifetimes already. I'm anxious to get off the ride. But
What is off the ride?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's part of it. I understand.
Like,
what's there to do after the ride? I mean, you play golf,
I play golf,
Yeah,
and
but he starts at 6 a.m. He's done it.
right? Exactly.
so this is what I'm getting at. The Neil Everett gig that you described.
Yes.
That sounds kind of like the perfect setup
It is a
if
good
you've
gig.
checked the other boxes, which is
Right.
it's half the year.
Yep.
And it's not the heaviest lifting in the world, right? If you're doing, I do pre-half and post for the Rams, so I understand the prep. It's real work.
Yep.
But it's also, for the Rams at least, it's 17, 18, 20 dates a year. That's
the
not
guy
so
who
bad.
has figured it out is Bill McDonald. Bill McDonald does 60 Laker games a year, and that's it. He works 60 days a year. So that means 305 days a year. He's doing whatever the hell he wants, and he's good at it. And so that's
a good one.
That's
Billy
the
Mack's a
life
good
I
one.
want to get to.
So I was with 2 of my friends. We were going to play golf one morning, and we were at Talega Golf Club in San Clemente.
Okay.
And I'm standing in line to check in at the desk on the
Right.
inside, and Billy is in line in front of me.
Okay.
And I could hear his voice. I knew it was Billy, but he had not turned around and seen me standing behind him.
Right.
And
Would he know you if he saw you, do you think?
so he turns around, and I said, "Oh, hey, Billy, how you doing?" And he goes, "Hey, Trav, how are you?"
He knew.
Like instantly.
Wow.
And my 2 buddies are like, Do you know how much we wanted him not to know who you were? Do you have any idea how much we were rooting for him to go, oh, hey, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, pal? And I'm like, there aren't too many people I would have tried to do that
you
with.
wouldn't have gone up to him.
Other than Billy Mack, because I don't know Billy great, but I knew him enough to know that he's that guy that remembers people. So
And
I
he's
think you're
the
right.
nicest guy in the
So
world.
golf and Lakers for Billy Mack.
Yeah.
You could do that, John.
I know.
What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for this place to fire me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it'll happen.
See,
It happens to all of us.
Someday I'm going to walk up and, we have this little button that you push, and then the red thing spins, and then
Okay.
the door opens, right? The day it keeps spinning and doesn't open is the day
I always think
and then they'll say the show has been retooled.
yeah, right. We're reworking things a little bit.
I'm not going to tell this. I told you guys the story when I got sacked from Rome, and I went down and my card wouldn't open the little arm in the
That's
parking
brutal.
lot.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't open.
It happens to everybody. So what's your retirement gig? You going back into the movie business? What are you
No,
doing?
God, no.
Travel?
You doing
Travel?
nothing?
No, I'm not. There is no
Hot
retirement.
Springs?
I'm not retiring.
He'll die on the job.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not retiring. For example, right now I love doing the show. I intend to do the show for as long as they allow me to do the show. Then after that, I'll keep doing my podcast. And I'll
Okay.
do my podcast as long as I can still open a Zoom window, and it will roll on like that. But I'm never gonna shut it down. Like my dad shut it down at an early age, and there's an expression: you use it or you lose it. My dad did lose it, so I want to stay.
Okay, does
going.
this
Stuff.
have anything to do with it as well? My dad didn't have the opportunity to shut it down, which makes me like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep working.
Well, I mean, he had to keep working, or did he pass away young?
He
or is
passed away too young,
Oh,
and
okay.
he got sick to where he couldn't work anymore, right?
Yeah.
And,
So
and-
the decision was made for him.
but I think that also plays into I fall more on your line. I want to work. I
Right.
like working.
I want to work a little bit.
I enjoy working. I want to work as long as
Again, Trav,
possible.
you and me.
Yeah,
You know what I
there's gotta
wanna
be a
do?
little bit of a bounce.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is, so Juan, I think you're this case with Lisa. I'm 10 years younger than Juan. You're
7.
Right.
Yeah.
So Juan is my partner now, and ultimately will be my nurse.
Lisa will hire
Solid
me a nurse. And and Lisa knows me really well. The nurse will be really good looking and be disgusted by me. And Lisa will just laugh.
So John, you may be able to guess this. I have a I blew it. I have a job in the golf world that I would like to take into retirement with me.
Marshall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marshall.
You'd be perfect for it. The
Tell me,
Marshall's
What's
a
the
mountain
marshal
gate.
do?
Drives around, checks in with people.
That's it.
You guys
If
having a good day today?
If you're violating the rules, he'll tell you to speed
Hey,
up.
Mace,
Oh.
Mace, we're going to keep that cart path on the cart today. No, cart path only.
That's it. That's your
Enjoy
job.
the rest of the
Do
day.
you wear like the armband?
Nah,
Marshal?
driver, I got a golf hat and a
Golf
t-shirt.
hat,
The
specific
Marshalls
course?
and Mountain Gate are fantastic.
Yeah.
They're all super happy.
Yeah.
they're-
Your cart runs out of battery, I'll run you out a new one.
You get a phone call and you're on the 15th hole and you got to come in. You call and they'll come pick you up.
That sounds like a great game. Am I the only one that I enjoy driving a golf cart? Like, I think it's really fun to drive a golf cart around. Now, I don't golf, but I think the golf cart's kind of fun. I know you can we one.
Yeah, you gotta be
I know
careful.
it's been done, but no, I think
now,
just riding around in a golf cart is fun.
We've got this vacation place in Idaho, and we just bought a golf cart
To drive around town?
To drive around town, not
Yeah.
to even drive. I mean,
Yeah.
I can take it to a golf course if I want to, but it's primarily so you don't need another car.
Right,
Catalina,
right.
it's
You know,
all
you just
like
take
that,
it to the
Palm
store.
Springs.
Palm Springs, my mom and
There's a lot
my
of
dad
Manhattan
had a golf
Beach.
cart.
There's a lot
people
in
with
my
golf
neighborhood
carts.
as well. I could, John, pull up to your group and say, hey, John, hope you guys are having a great time. There's a hole open ahead. We need you to pick it up a little bit.
There you go.
We're going to need you to pick it up. See,
Yeah, right.
I'm ready to go.
Easy.
I'm ready to do it right now.
Go
Super
time.
Crosstalks brought to you by In-N-Out. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all